What's up, guys? Man, that color is awful. Let's see here. There we go. That's much better. So we're going to wait a little bit here, wait for some people to get in. I know this is a little different than normal. Typically, we're not doing live streams midweek, but figured I would hop on, see if some people are around and want to do a live feed for a bit. It's definitely been a while since I have done one. We got someone in here. Anyway, but so we'll see if this takes off. If not, no big deal. But hopefully we get some people in here and we can have a good live feed or live stream. I know I haven't done these definitely in a little bit. It's been hectic. I think everyone's kind of had a hectic time right now with COVID-19. Hopefully you guys are all staying safe. And yeah. So who's in here with me? We got two guys in here, or girls, combination. Just hoping a few more people pop in. We'll get this live feed going. We'll kind of do it as we normally do, which is typically a lot of random stuff, and we run from there. Anyway, well, with two of you guys in here, I guess we'll get started. Anyway, so some of you may know that the newest video for 6.0 related content just dropped. I was actually really excited to do some 6-liter stuff. You guys know I love 6 liters, and well, obviously, I hope that's apparent with the name of the channel. But so best tuners, that was the topic of conversation out there, which I pretty much, for 6 liters, I pretty much just side on the SCT line of tuners. They tend to really truthfully be the best for them. You're able to do the custom tunes. You're able to tune the transmission, which is vital when you start pushing power to be able to control that transmission. The tuner, they're the ones that mess with it. I obviously do not. And that helps keep that transmission alive a lot longer than if you're not trying to do that. So anyway, guys, any questions about that video or any 6.7 questions? This is really open to both. I obviously know the 6.0 a lot better. Now we're starting to get some people in here, up to 5. Guys, comment section. Let's introduce yourselves. Let's hear who you are. Always love interacting with you guys, and that's one of the fun things about doing live streams is it is a way for me to interact with you guys in real time. I will say the first few live streams I ever did were a little intimidating because I had to actually answer people and have answers without looking stuff up, but I've gotten pretty comfortable with these now. So, and they're a lot of fun, but they're really a lot of fun when you guys are asking me 1.5 million questions. So come on, let's get some questions in here, guys. What are you guys doing during your quarantine of COVID? Here in Pennsylvania, we're pretty much shut down. Essential workers or essential trips out is pretty much all that is supposed to be allowed. I'm a nurse, so I'm still working 5 days a week and putting in my hours, but a lot of people in the state are not. I am dying because the gym's not open. When is Ford going to put a Cummins in? Steve, that's hysterical. It flagged your comment for review. When is Ford going to put Hammer Down Motorsports, guys? Good friend of mine. I definitely miss heading over there and goofing around and drinking his beer. Steve, I think when this is all done, we should do a parody video. Things Dodge Cummins owners say, and then followed by things Ford owners say. I think that'd be kind of fun to goof around all day and roast each other, really. Said the guy with the broken 6-liter. I hope the subscribers realize the kind of guts it takes to go over to Steve's house and literally give him permission to roast me when I have a broken 6-liter. Nick, I was watching a tuner video. Nick, probably the best tuner video you ever saw. Guys, if you haven't, when this is done, not now, hang out for this live stream now, but when this is done, head over to Hammer Down Motorsports. Has an awesome channel. We forgive him for being a Dodge owner. Excuse me. But seriously, he's a good friend of mine. He does awesome content, and he's been a huge help to me with this whole crazy thing called YouTube. And he seriously has helped me a lot. So very thankful for everything he's done for me. It's all in good fun. I'm harder on Toyota guys. Poor Martin. Yeah, Steve, you really round out everything. You're kind of a connoisseur of the truck world. Trying to think, the Chevy's the S10, right? I think so. He's got a mint condition F-150. I mean, it's beautiful. I think it's like I can't even remember the year, but it's beautiful. You guys want to see one of the nicest F-150s? Steve's channel. He even jumps it a few times, even though I don't know why you'd beat up on such a nice looking 2000. Impeccable 2000 F-150. Steve, the one that's the mud mouse. I just remember getting in I think it was the gold one, the one day, and it literally smelled like a goat or something. It was awful. Like, it was so bad in there. Now we're getting some people in here. It's starting to catch on a little bit. Nick, what did you think of the tuner video? I know it's a little different. Every now and then I put out more of a information-heavy video like that, but you guys tend to respond pretty well to it, and so I'll keep making them. Sylvester, thank you. Proud 6.0 owner. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a proud broken 6.0 owner, which is kind of upsetting. But I'm proud nonetheless, I guess. The moose was worse. Took the doors off. Like I said, guys, Steve does a lot of cool stuff. He's got a super sharp Dodge Ram 1500 Rebel, looking really, really good. So, like I said, when this is over, don't forget to go check him out. Good friend. When the white truck's back, Steve, we need to do another tug of war. We haven't done one of them since the first one. It still smells. There is no getting that unique fragrance out of that truck. Yeah, Nick, I'm with you, man. I'm not happy that Nate is not tuning right now. I don't know what happened. I don't know exactly what happened with Nate that he is not currently tuning. I hope he's okay, but he's hands down my favorite tuner. So I think what I'm going to go back for my daily tunes when the truck's back together is I think I'm going to go with Power Hungry Performance. I do plan to keep doing the tune reviews. People seem to like them, so I'll keep making them. But the let's see here. Power Hungry Performance, I used them very initially when I got into custom tunes, and I kind of stepped away because I was having a little bit of I shouldn't say a hard time getting a hold of them, but I didn't like waiting a few days to hear from people. And then I think what they ended up doing is instead of you dealing directly with them for tunes, they had dealers for their tunes. So you dealt with them, and I didn't like that. But I will say that's how Truck Source Diesel set up. KC Turbo, Charlie, as some of you guys know him, he does the email tunes for Truck Source Diesel, and I love my Truck Source Diesel tune. Excellent customer service. So I'm going to try Power Hungry Performance again when the truck's coming back. I just sent my tax information over to get my taxes done. So hopefully there's a little bit of crap to. Here's a bombshell. If I get rid of my Cummins, I'll get a say, Steve, get rid of the Cummins. This is a no-brainer. Steve coming over to the light. Nick, I'll say I only ran 2 of their tunes, and they ran flawlessly. They ran great, and I never had any issues with them. So I got to, Excuse me, I swear I do not have COVID, guys. Don't worry. But I do have really bad allergies, and they are a wreck right now. That kind of hurt, going to be honest with you. Anyway, in non-COVID related news, because nobody's here to listen to that nonsense right now. But no, their tunes ran great. I wanted to be able to email my tuner. 1 second. I wanted to be able to email my tuner and hear back from him that day. Or not that day, within 2 days. And sometimes it took longer than that. Everyone else has had excellent response times. Really, PHP, that's kind of where they dropped the ball. But I never had issues with their tunes. I had questions about the cam I was going to be running. And when I didn't hear from him, I got a little butthurt. So I was like, I'll go find somebody that responds better. And there's been a lot of great tunes, but at the end of the day, Power Hungry Performance, their tunes always ran great. So I'm probably going to go back to them for daily tunes. I'll be shocked if something runs better at the track than Innovative Diesel's Ultimate X. So I'll get that updated. I'll probably try out either Innovative's Ficum tuning or Power Hungry Performance, one or the other. I'll probably mess around with Power Hungry Performance, to be honest. Oh, Jay Hill, nice, man. That's cool. Yeah, the oil cooler. I know I did 2 videos when I first started the channel, and I'm gonna be hard on myself. They were awful. They were not good videos that I had made when I first started on oil cooler, but I've since gone back, and I feel the video I made last summer was a much better video. It's not a true in-depth bolt by bolt teardown, but if you look at the channel, there's enough information out there. You know, if you have issues with turbos, taking the turbo off, I have like 2 or 3. I think I've filmed me pulling the turbo 2 or 3 times. The Y pipe, I've definitely done at least 2 videos on. Ficum is in injector videos. So there's enough resources that you should be able to do that. And once you get there, it's just unbolting your intake manifold and EGR. So, which isn't terribly at all. I take the EGR. If I have a factory manifold, I take the EGR and the intake manifold out as one. So I don't even separate them. I just take that all out. I wouldn't even take the EGR valve out of that personally. I would just yank the whole thing out. And once it's out on the ground, I then mess with it. I think while you're working in there, it's a little nicer. You have less stuff loose. It is what it is, but I need to stop being lazy. The goal for my front end, that is, not this coming weekend because I work this coming weekend. The following weekend, I'm hoping to do that. There was a tool I needed to order now that I mentioned that. I think it's snap ring pliers. I think I broke my snap ring pliers. So those of you who may know, I have an 05 axle that is supposed to be on the white truck right now, but it's not, which is another very upsetting thing. And so I was moving. I've recently moved. Many of you know that. And this pinky, I don't know if you can see, as stupid as I look right now, this pinky, a little bit larger than my other one. That's because I fractured it trying to move this thing on the ground. And the same night I broke my snap ring pliers trying to take the axles out. So I need to go get I need to buy a new pair of them. Plus you need a longer pair for the 05 and newer axles. Like the pair I had easily got my 04 axle, but on this one I had nothing but issues trying to get it off the 05. So I think that's all I need yet. Oh, and I need a seal installer tool for the on the steering knuckle. There's a big tool you buy, and it sets into the center where like your axle goes, and that's how you set the depth of the what do they call it? An oil ring or something, an oil seal in there. That's what lets your hub engage. I don't know why I'm stuttering over stuff I know. anyway, that's how your hub engages. And if you have a leak in either that seal or a seal on the back of the wheel bearing, then you're screwed, and you'll have to get out and use your manual hubs, which is nice to do. Which is not, or I shouldn't say nice to do. It's irritating to do. It's nice that Ford has it. Let's see here. I know I'm falling a little behind in the comment section. Steve, one thing about the 6.0 makes the owner into a mechanic. I am much more mechanically capable today than I was prior to my 6.0 Powerstroke. So I will agree with that. It has taught me, it's taught me a lot of crap. All bracing all around the side. Jay sounds like he got a nice truck there, though. The 05 and newer suspensions are so much better. So, Jay, for you specifically, a lot of what I'm going to be doing on my truck will be relevant because the 05 to current trucks have almost identical suspensions. You may need to double check a few parts, but I do plan to have links to every part that I use on my 2015. But I believe a lot of them are still from the 05 year. So just double check that. But when that video comes out, it's going to have everything listed, all the tools needed, all the socket sizes. And then you'll just have to double check to see if the exact parts are, will go back that far. So. So that's right. I can tell how much. Nick, leaf springs for life. I like leaf springs, man. And my 04 ride's pretty decent all in all. And, it's an older truck. It's got my little leveling kit on it, but all in all, they don't ride bad. But I will say the biggest thing I noticed is you have a much better turning radius on the newer trucks than you did with the older ones. So that's kind of one of my big selling points for making this switch is just having that additional turning radius. It's nice. They do ride a little nicer. Oh, Steve, that's right. Steve, I'll just drive by your house and just toss it in the bed for me. We're quarantining. There's 6-liter making 625 on 175 stocks. Parker, I'm going to respectfully call BS on that. 625, you're not doing 625 with those injectors. A 175 stock injector is going to max out at about 515 to 525 on a good day. That 624 horsepower, I mean, yeah, I don't see that happening. I just don't think that's possible. Even if you gave it every mechanical advantage you could, even if you had lighter connecting rods, lighter, your whole rotating assembly, if it's running perfect, ported head, the whole works, you're not going to increase the horsepower by 100 over what that injector is capable of. There's no way you're going to do that. But yeah, so I'm going to say no, that's not possible on my truck. Now, I will say one of the plans here is to, hopefully the fix on the truck is relatively inexpensive. And I would actually like to part the engine out next year. Drive it, do some reviews, and the goal would actually be, this is what I think I want to do. I have a lot of things I think I want to do, though. The goal would be to actually sell the engine and just outright, or part it out with the cam, the cylinder heads, a lot of the upgraded parts, and actually buy a Kill Devil diesel engine. That is one thing I'm considering doing down the road. I really just want a Kill Devil diesel build engine. But we won't really know what's happening with my truck yet. Trust me, when the truck is torn apart and I can make a video on it, I will be, and I'll be showing that to you guys. I'm excited to see what's going on, and it's a process, guys. On top of it, it's an expensive process at that, as much as I wish I could just afford to buy whatever, I cannot. And but the white truck is coming back, so hopefully we have some updates on that coming soon. As I've been kind of putting a little more 6-liter content back out there. Can be a little challenging without an actual 6-liter in your current possession. So anyway, that is one of the things I'm thinking of. If I do that, I think it'd be but back to power. I mean, even if you had every possible advantage your way, you're just not going to add that. I think to make 624 or let's just call it 620. To make 620 horsepower, you're talking probably about a 225 cc injector, and I'm going to say a 75% nozzle. Now, that'll probably put you more like 650, 670. Excuse me. But that's going to be more realistic. 624 on those injectors is just not possible. Jay, I hear that, man. While I was excited to make the 6.7 purchase at one point, I really didn't want to make. The plan was to buy it this summer, and unfortunately, with certain circumstances, I needed to buy it sooner than I wanted to, which really sucks. Not that I think you should take advantage of a situation like COVID-19, but do we all realize how much trucks are about to come down in price? And I had to buy a truck at the peak of the market in the fall. I've been looking at truck prices and they're starting to come down like $5,000-$6,000. That would have been kind of nice to be able to buy a little cheaper than I did, but oh well, it is what it is. I'm starting to like the 6.7. We're starting to make it a good truck. We're definitely getting some headway there. So, but I do miss not having a monthly payment. I really enjoyed not having a monthly truck payment. I didn't have one for like 4 or 5 years. I got the white truck, paid it off, and then I decided to start a YouTube channel, and it would have been cheaper just to have another truck, but not nearly as much fun. Let's see here. Also, when owning a 6.0, got to get AAA. Oh, first world problems. Get out and switch the hubs. I don't like to do it. Actually, funny story. I was over at Steve's once, and I got stuck in a little bit of mud, and I may have just had surgery prior to this, and I couldn't turn my frickin' hub in, so I had to go ask him to lock my hub in for me so I could actually leave his house. I was pretty upset about that. Balance blowing white smoke, is that an injector? So, Don, it sounds like an injector. If you look up 6.0 Powerstroke injector, there's a video from us that actually has what my truck looked like with a down injector. So if it's like that, then yeah, and most likely blowing white smoke, like a lot of white smoke you'll see in the video, then yeah, it's probably an injector. I have a question. SCT, standard tunes. What's the best approach to getting custom tunes? So, Jay, when you get custom tunes for it, it'll have the transmission tuning in it. It's not a separate thing. It is one thing in there, so you're good there. You don't worry. Like, you order your tune, you'll fill out all the stuff, and they'll send you a tune that has transmission tuning because it's just included in there. So you'll be good to go there. Tuners, I recommend. So if you want to go fast, I recommend Innovative Diesel. They have some of the fastest, most greatest tunes to drive. I felt like this was very Donald Trumpy of me. Sorry. I do a pretty decent Donald Trump impersonation, but that's for another time. Anyway, so you'll get it all at once. Innovative Diesel, you want to go fast. SPD, if you want some pretty decent drivability. Truck Source Diesel or TSD, their SPD tune. I hate the name of it though. Super Panty Dropper. Like, it is such a dumb name. Anyway, their SPD tune is a great tune. It's a little smokier than I like to drive on the street, but very controllable or very easy to daily if you're just aware of how you're driving it. So, Gearhead and Quick Tricks get excellent reviews for daily driving. Warren Diesel, Power Hungry Performance we talked about. I'm sure there's one or two. Windrunner Performance, please start tuning again because they're one of my favorites. Let's see here. I think that's about it off the top of my head. Now, I do plan to, in that tuner video, some of you may have referenced, or somebody referenced here, I do plan to put a list of appropriate tuners, not appropriate, good tuners that I know have excellent reputations. So that will be in there in the near future. Sylvester, yes, there is a big difference in tuners. So I'm going to talk about tuners in two different ways. First, the actual device itself. So SCT Performance technically is the go-to tuning option. Now, somebody I had spoken to had reminded me that Bully Dog had been bought out or they combined by SCT. I don't know if Bully Dog uses the same software and can get custom tunes on their devices, so I just recommend stick with SCT for all of it. Now, you can get canned tunes. Some don't come with canned tunes. It doesn't matter because I recommend custom tunes across the board. Yes, it's a little more expensive, but you're going to enjoy your tune 1,000 times more than the canned tunes. So actual devices, there's a difference. Just trust me on this one. If people really want it, I can talk more about it in a little bit. But SCT tuners are the best. Go to the video I did, and if you purchase one of those tuners from there, you'll be happy and you'll be set to go. Now, tuners, people making custom tunes, there's still a big difference. There's several different strategies for the ECM that the 6.0 had over the years. They use parts of each of them. Some are good, some are bad. If you're sticking with big tuners, there's a reason they've been so successful. It's because they're making a good product. So if you're sticking with bigger name tuners, then you're going to be fine. I was just talking with somebody that's having issues with, who is it? Tyrant, the Tyrant tuners or Tyrant Diesel, whatever is. I've never dealt with him, but the names I've listed, those people, there are differences amongst all of them, but they're all good tuners and you'll like them. I will say, in my experience, Innovative Diesel has been a little more frustrating to daily drive, but other than that, they're good. How can I tell what kind of lift I have on my 06? They might be branded on, depending if you have springs or something. If you have a spring, like it's just a spring that's in there instead of like a puck, then probably not. If it is a puck style up there, there's probably a branding on it if you were to take it down. Truth be told, man, if you like how it rides, it's not worth messing with to find out what brand it is. If you're happy with it, I would just run it. My wife calls it a money pit. Jay, welcome to every 6.0 owner's dream of dealing with that. Someone thinking their truck's a money pit. And to an extent, man, all these diesels are money pits because we tend to not leave them the heck alone. We want to do cool stuff, and we do cool stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean we mess anything up. It's just it's more expensive to do, and girls don't tend to understand that. I always tell them I don't buy a bunch of purses, which would be weird because I'm a dude, but they buy purses, I buy diesel parts. It's very different. And the diesel gets us on vacation, so nobody can really give me crap about that. I just tell them I need it. Honey, it needs to be fixed. It's how we get to South Carolina. It had head studs. I know the glow plugs are bad, so I ordered that too. Jay, if you don't have custom tunes for that, then the injectors are definitely factory injectors, or at least size-wise, they're factory. Matt, the 6.0 is not in running shape. I haven't been down to see Greg in a little bit because I'm in healthcare. Many of you guys know that, and I'm just trying to be cautious about who I'm around. So I do live with family, so I'm around them. We're all actually in healthcare, but even Nope, my dog's down here. Come here, Izzy. Come here. She's just looking at me like I'm a loser. But so since we're all in healthcare, I'm just cautious about who I'm around. So I haven't been down to see Greg in a little bit. But when this is all over, I do plan to get down there. I actually wanted to call him about a different, not a 6-0 question, about a 6-7 question. I just haven't had a chance to. Let's see here. The 6-7, I think the 6-7 is actually has the potential to be a more costly motor to maintain. But I don't know. So if you're going to modify, I think the 6.0 is a better platform to modify from. I think it's a little more user friendly. It's a little now, like I'm used to wrenching on the 6.0, so I'm obviously biased. I'm still learning the 6.7, but I do think that the 6.0 is a better platform to goof around with. The 6.7, like they're like sure, there's a few high horsepower ones out there, but they're just not as good with it. That CP4 pump, if that goes bad, that is a bad fuel filters is what I wanted to call Greg about. And I don't know when the fuel filters were changed on this truck. I need to do that. Anyway, that was very squirrel. Anyway, so that's what I think. I think 6.7, if you're going to just do relatively basic stuff, like you're not looking to change stuff in the sense, I'm not talking deletes. Just delete it. Anyway, I'm not talking about deleting and tuning it versus keeping it factory and tuning it. But if you're not planning on trying to make 700-800 horsepower, I think the 6.7 is probably a cheaper endeavor. Like if you're just going to tune it, do some mild stuff, even if you delete it, if you were to delete a 6.7 and tune it and call it a day, I think you're going to make more power a little cheaper than if you tried to do it with the 6.0. Because to do what the 6.7 does with just a delete, you're talking like a $2,000 set of injectors, $2,000 to $2,300. You're talking a turbo, an exhaust, an intake, a fuel pump, and a regulated return. All that stuff I just listed off, and that's being relatively mild with stuff. Why that's like $8,000 in parts. Whereas you can literally buy some cheap blocking plates on a 6.7, a cheap exhaust from like online places. There's race pipes, a cheap exhaust and a tuner, literally for like $3,000. $5,000 less to make a 6.0 make 600 horsepower. You can make a 6.7 do it reliably. It's all back and forth. Let's see. I know I am way behind here on comments, guys. I'm getting caught up, I swear. So, Jay, I think I kind of answered this earlier without realizing you had asked it. You probably, if you're just running the can tunes from the SCT, yeah, you have stock injectors. It wouldn't run right if you had other sized injectors. Jay, I will say this. Don't let the people that have talked a bunch of crap on the 6.0 scare you into thinking that the 6.0 is this terrible, terrible engine. It's not. They're good engines. They really are. And are there a few flukes out there? Yeah. But especially with stock injectors and a stock turbo, like I honestly think if you're going to modify, but you're still concerned about reliability, I think a 64 millimeter turbo and a set of 175 stock nozzle injectors, and do a few oh crap, and do make it run right. So do the exhaust, do the intake, do the ported intake manifold, do the ported exhaust manifold. BD makes the greatest Y pipe in my opinion. They make great manifolds. That's the setup I run. So I'm a little biased, but I'm all about making the airflow through the engine as smooth as possible, get the most usable power, help get a nice clean burn. Sure, when you just stomp on it, you're going to get black smoke, but I like trucks that run clean. I think that's cool to make good power and run clean. So you'd really like a truck like that. Would be super reliable too. that is, again, I want to modify, but I want reliability. I think that is one of the ideal builds you can do. You're talking about a 510 horsepower truck on a race tune. Then from there, it's different. From there, you have to start taking into account other things, transmissions and connecting rods around the 650 to 700 horsepower mark. There's a lot of other things to take in, but I'm a fan of upgrading a turbo even on stock injectors. I felt a difference when I put that Power Max turbo in and I still had stock injectors, an immediate difference. It was like a different truck. So I'm a big fan of that. I know some people argue that, but I could tell a huge difference. And maybe part of it was my factory turbo at the time was just shot. Nick, I agree. Custom tuning, well worth the money. Kyle, no, my Ficum is not tuned. I do plan to do that and do reviews. I am leaning towards Power Hungry Performance and his the programmer. I'm probably going to just buy it for the truck, mainly because that'll allow me to do reviews of each one and actually do some extended reviews and keep each Ficum tune on for like a week. So when I'm doing that, I'll definitely, when the white truck's back and I get to that part, I'll definitely be driving it a lot to be able to talk about them. And I do want to do that more in the winter. So ideally, when I start doing Ficum tune reviews, it'll be in the winter. I'll keep probably a tow tune or a street tune on the truck. And I plan to spend at least a week each time with the Ficum tuner to review it. Because I picked the winter because one of the big things they say is increased or better cold starts. So I want to make sure I can actually say whether I experienced that or not. And the other thing is better fuel economy. I want to see that. And they say quicker spool up. There's a few other things, but we'll see. I do plan to do that. I want to do it in the wintertime. Hopefully, this is one of the few times you'll hear me say this. Hopefully next winter, the white truck's back. This is the part you'll actually hear me say few. We've all heard me say that white truck part a million times. I'm hoping for a cold winter so I can actually really test that. And I'll have the 6.7, so if there is a start issue, I can quick just jump in the 6.7 and head on my way. Nick, stock is boring. Thoughts on the 6.4? So I kind of get crap for this. In factory form, the 6.4 has a much higher rate of failure than pretty much any other diesel engine in one of the big threes pickups. We're talking 2500s and 3500s. Well, 250s and 350s. So now the 6.4, again, higher failure rate than anything else out there. That's just a fact. Now, what I'm going to say here, this is where people get a little tender. It can be built to be a super reliable truck. International, first time making a common rail engine in for Ford. They had not done that before, and I think they got a few things wrong. And I think through, the hold on, I'm sorry, I'm definitely rusty on these. I'm definitely stuttering a little more. All right, so I think through the aftermarket with different pistons that have since come out for them that you can use, or you have fly cut and D-lip pistons and coated pistons. You have better builders that understand these things more than they did back then. The 6.4 can be reliable. In my opinion, though, if you buy a 6.4, I would recommend looking at buying just an engine. Everybody here knows I'm a huge fan of Kill Devil Diesel. That being said, you can't deny Chode Engineering and Asheville Engines, who have done fantastic work and both have great reputations. Personally, I'm going to buy from Kill Devil Diesel. They might be a little more expensive than Asheville. Chode, I've never actually priced anything out from him. So, and I believe Chode Engineering is also Diesel Doctor of Tennessee. But they all have great reputations, and I feel they can all build the 6.4 to be every bit as reliable as a 6.0 or a 6.7 and make a ton of power. But it's expensive. If I was to do a 6.4, I'd probably be looking at, I'd probably want a fully built one. I mean, everything, connecting rods, pistons, you name it, I want it upgraded on there. And yeah, I don't know. One, it'd be cool. You never have to worry about anything anymore. But that's just that's what I think the best way to get a 6.4 up. Now, what do I think the bare minimum is? You probably don't need connecting rods, but I would definitely be messing with the pistons themselves. I'd have upgraded pistons in there. Oh man, you got a better way of contacting you other than YouTube, like offline. So Jay, probably the easiest way to get a hold of me is probably going to be through Instagram. My email's there. I check my email several times a day. Now today I've been bad with checking my email. It was a busy day at work. It's a crazy time to be in healthcare, but typically I will check my email at least probably 5, 6, 7 times a day. So I'm pretty good about getting back at email, and I'm good about checking my spam folder. So if you go onto my channel and go to the About section, my email's listed there. Or Instagram, if you go to my channel and look up in the banner, there's a link to my Instagram there. But I'll type my Instagram down here. So, oops, if I can type. That's my Instagram name down there. Now there is a 6.0 bros, like how we have it on YouTube, but we started Instagram after them. So that stinks. I think they don't even post. They should just give me the name out of the fact that that nobody thinks of them as a 6.0 bros. They think of me and Josh. But anyway, and I know for a fact I've gotten them followers on Instagram because people will be like, hey, I'm following you. But you never respond to me. So they're probably thinking, who is this weirdo that we keep getting questions about? It's Amia, don't worry. You might be late, but we got plenty more information to come. Worth it. So Blue Spring, 100% worth it. You should be monitoring your fuel pressure. That's how you're going to keep your injectors happy and healthy. And injectors can be an expensive endeavor to get a good set of injectors in there if they start failing. So the old banjo bolts, or whatever you want to call them. Some people pronounce that weird. Anyway, so I want to test this theory because I think unless you're running a crazy setup, I think they're a complete joke. Everybody upgrades them. And I think especially if you're running a factory injector, there's no way. No, Nick, but we're social. Oh, sorry, my throat. No, but we're social distancing. I did think it was pretty messed up. Just a normal drink happening over here, just some soda. Anyway, but no, I don't have the door locked to keep Josh out of here from stealing my drink again. It'd be pretty upsetting if he came and stole my drink. Nothing to see here. No, I'm out of ginger ale, so we had to switch to Coke. But I will tell you, doing these live streams, I love doing them, guys, especially when you guys are interactive and you guys have your own chats going on in there. But darn, if it's not like torture on my vocal cords by the end of it, because I might talk a lot. I do talk a lot. I don't talk this continuously throughout the day. Does anyone remember my 3-hour live stream? That was a record. My throat hurt the better part of the next day after that, actually. All right, let me get back on here. So, Jay, I hope that answered your question. I don't typically hand out like any personal, like my phone or anything, but like you guys are about as close to being able to all but call me as is. But that's just, I don't do that. It's nothing personal, but, and I do really try my butt off to answer you guys. So Bear with me. If it's a day or two at most is probably the worst I am. But please reach out to me because I am here to help. I want to be helpful to you guys and help answer questions. So please email or Instagram, YouTube as well, obviously, as you already know, are the best ways to get a hold of me. This winter, I'm going to upgrade the torque converter. I was told by several Ds Ford has the best transmissions, but the old converter go out will destroy. So, Jay, first off, the 5R transmission was an absolutely amazing transmission. The torque converter locks to help slow the load down, like if you have tow haul on. The 5R was just a monster of a transmission. Excuse me. You know, if you have fresh fluid in there, the biggest thing you can do is keep the fluid clean. And that 5R is going to last you a long time. And you can last pretty high horsepower. Now, I'm really hard on my white truck. So I was in the process of taking a transmission out. And I'm not going to lie, I wanted to build one. Anyway, probably one of the more stupid, expensive things I've done in a while. I'd like to not relive that. But anyway, so I have a great transmission now. But if you keep the fluid clean, things I would recommend doing, upgrading to the 6.4 transmission filter and getting a deep pan on there. So that deep pan, it's also cast, just like in a recent video I did on my 6.7 about the lower oil pan I put on. So that thicker flange that mounts there helps to add rigidity to the case. So the 3 to 5 shift flare in a 5R, a lot of people don't realize this. That's because ports inside don't line up. It's such a long case. So you get torsional flexion. What that means is you're getting flexion like this. So the front half wants to go one way and the back half is going the other way. And it flexes the case and the holes inside don't quite line up correctly. So if you're going to have a rebuilt transmission done, your center support needs to be redone. Suncoast has a awesome center support that's in my 5R, along with a lot of other stuff. I have videos on this for the transmission, and there's not an upgraded part around for my transmission in the white truck. Most people aren't going to need to go that bad or that big. I did go with a custom torque converter from a Landis converter. I follow him on Instagram. He does like a fair amount of my posts. I don't know if he ships or not. Super awesome torque converter. I love it. And I think you guys will as well. So if you're in the market, get a hold of him. I'm not like affiliated or paid. I'm not paid to say any of that. Like I paid for the torque converter. We did up my stall. So a factory stall on that is about 1,800 RPM. We upped mine to about 21 or 2,200 RPM. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it is up a little higher. That'll allow me to, I do race obviously at the track when the truck's running. You will get a little bit of better spool up off the line with a slightly higher thing. For daily driving, truthfully, I recommend the factory stall. Like if Josh's truck were to ever need a torque converter, we would run a factory stall in that. There's no reason for him to upgrade. Even if he did go to a bigger turbo, like a 64 millimeter, they run great. Well, he is going to a bigger turbo. It's sitting in his garage, but they honestly run great at a factory stall. There's no reason to go up. And from what you're saying with your build, I wouldn't go up. I would just get a really nice torque converter to put in there. And that transmission probably is still good. One thing to consider is any warranty work with that converter. Just make sure what they say about it is, and that may also be something that a lot of transmission warranties, if you were to drop a transmission and you wanted to upgrade, even to like say just some call them like a stage 1 or stage 1 plus. Basically, it's upgraded clutch packs and steels and a few goodies. I would do a shift kit personally. I'd keep all factory solenoids. I'd keep the factory pump. And let your tuning adjust those pressures. You don't need to do anything else, but people try to sell that. Just do a shift kit. I really like my shift kit on my truck. And that factory center support. Now, I have a full billet build on mine, but transmissions are cool and they're fun to talk about. To be honest, I like them. I think they're interesting. Probably partially because I don't completely understand them either. But I have not taken a breath in a little bit. Anyway, for warranty, sometimes people will mandate you go with their torque converter. So if you buy a new torque converter, I would buy from a company that you would also plan on having a transmission built from, because worst case scenario, they'll say, hey, you have to send that torque converter in with your transmission for us to go through it to warranty the transmission itself. Oh yeah. So for the banjo bolts, no, I don't think they're necessary in 98% of the builds out there. I don't think there's a need for that nonsense at all. Let's hear. And guys, I'm going to get through all these questions, I swear. I'm not going to just stop this until I'm through all the questions. Let's see here. So blue spring kit, do that one. Right. You want to do the Bruce? Yeah. And Britt nails this point right on the head. So you need 45 PSI of fuel pressure at the fuel bowl to completely fill all of your injectors. So what happens is the plunger assembly, as it pushes down, the fuel acts almost like a shock absorber for this part. So if you can't fully fill it up as that plunger comes down, instead of the fuel sitting like right here and the plunger just coming like sitting right here, it's now got to come here. So this is going to be an added shock on it. I don't know why my color keeps messing up sometimes, guys. So sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, 45 PSI at a minimum. And yeah, Brett, good point. Nailed it. Matt is 100% use a fuel pump first. Yeah, and I saw someone answered this. Yeah, it's a Mia's spot on. 100%, like there's not a variable speed to it. It's just one speed, 100% duty cycle. I've literally never seen it run anything else. Nick, I wish I could like that comment, that live stream comment about Josh. Speaking of locking doors, starting good conversation. Speaking of locking doors, any tricks other than unlock, close key 8 times not working to pair for me? No, and I can probably do it up at Josh's. Maybe I'll do a video on how to go over it. The series that you have to go through is fast. I've only done it once, and you have to get through it. It is super fast. What I think it's like the key on off 10 times, lock, unlock, lock your door, something like that. You definitely have to go look it up. But yeah, it's a whole process, and like I said, you need to go through it fast. JD, thank you for watching the new video. JD, are you local? Would be my question. If you're close to me and we could meet, there's definitely a chance I'd consider selling one of the older ones. Well, so I only have X3s. That's all I have. And actually, so I have one that I used on my old man's truck. I have one for my white truck, one for Josh's truck, and there is just a complete spare that I don't plan to keep down the road. So I plan to see if it'll tune my 6.7 for a little bit. I'd like to just goof around, but I don't plan to keep that one, and I don't really have a use for it long term. So if you're interested, yeah, I might. Honestly, I'll look up what I paid for it. I bought it used online. I'll make sure it has enough. I'll make sure it has at least 2 more unlocks on it, so you can use it on one vehicle, and if something happens, you can use it on another one. But I'll look what I paid for it and take $25 off and call it from there. If you're interested. But again, I don't want to get into like shipping stuff and all that nonsense. I would much rather, like, if you're local or when this quarantine in Pennsylvania is over, we could meet. I'd be more interested in that. So hit me up on Instagram or email, and we'll talk. Jay, man, thank you for hanging out on here. I don't know if you're still in here. I may have missed you. I'm a little behind. But Jay, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Great having you. I hope you can join the next one. And you're welcome. Injectors. I actually really like talking injectors too, oddly enough. Do you recommend 30 over nozzles for... So I man, I get roasted for my beliefs on injectors. People don't like what I have to say. So I think it's a waste to put a 30% nozzle on anything smaller than a 190 and preferably a 205. Now, a 205 is a pretty big injector. You're talking an injector that's going to get you well into the 200 horsepower or 200 horsepower. Sorry, for a second I thought we were talking about 12 valves and 7.3s apparently. 600 horsepower. So a 205 is a 600 horsepower injector, a little more, a little less, depending on nozzle. I think a 205/30 has proven to be an excellent injector. It is going to be the next size I run on my truck. Other than that, I think I think 155 is a joke of an injector. I don't recommend it. It's not a bad injector. I just think for the cost difference, just go to a 175 stock. You get a little more pop. I really like a larger bodied injector behind a smaller nozzle. What that helps happen is it helps the fuel atomize better because you have more force behind it. You got more oomph. So I like that. And as you atomize the fuel better, you're going to get cleaner burning. You're going to get more fuel efficiency. You're going to get a cooler running truck, overall equaling just a better, more efficient vehicle. So I love 175 stock nozzle injectors. I think they're excellent, and I really recommend them for most people. You can't go wrong with it. Now, if you say, Jared, I want more than 500 horsepower, like a 175 stock is going to stop out a little over 500 horsepower if you have all the other supporting mods. Who's this goofball? Okay. Put in timeout. I haven't had to put anyone in timeout in a while. We're going to delete his nonsense. Hey, man, so here's the thing, dude. Guys, we'll get back to questions in just a second. Dude, yeah, we're deleting these messages. So, hey, man, I want you to stay. I want you to hang out with us, but I keep this whole thing super clean, and I need you to do that as well. So you can hang out, man. I hope you do, but again, you need to keep it all clean, PG. Younger kids read this, and I'm just not about having that nonsense in here. So I'd appreciate if you can do that. So your timeout will run out. You can come back and hang out with us, but please, none of that. Anyway, so back to answering questions, guys. Sorry about that little detour. I saw someone being goofy, and well, we have to stop that. Anyway, so injectors, 175 stock is an excellent injector. I love it. It's what's in my truck. The other thing is, as you increase nozzle size, you also turn around, you decrease idle quality. For some people, they don't care. And a 30% nozzle, I hear, runs still super well. I'm going to find out personally in hopefully the nearest future. But a 175, you're going to have no decrease in idle quality. I actually felt like a lot of mine did better with that setup when I had it. I felt like it almost idled smoother. Maybe it was just the fact that I had a fresh set of injectors in it. That could definitely be part of it. So, yeah. So if you want more than about 500 horsepower, jump up to a 205/30. Now, you might need a fuel system. Like a 205/30 is a big jump, but you also need a few other things. And you need to be careful with your transmission. But in the end, like a 175/30 or especially a 155/30, they're going to run smoky. They're going to run hot. So I'd rather have a 175 stock, be able to push the injector harder, and have a cleaner, cooler running truck, yet still get everything out of that. Now, in your higher RPMs, 3,500-ish, 3,300, that stock nozzle with the 175 does start to fade out. But most of where you're making your power is 2,000 to 3,000 RPMs anyway, and that's where the truck lives and driving. So you're still getting the benefits of that larger injector without the drawbacks of a bigger nozzle. Now, again, a 205/30, you can still pull fuel, you can still tow max weight, and they're still super safe, but just a little bit of a different setup, I guess. Let me know if I answered your question or if you have any more questions. Britt, let's see here. I hope you're still in here, Britt. I know I'm getting a little behind on stuff. Looking to upgrade battery, ground, and starter cables. What gauge do you recommend? 0 or all, whatever. I can't think of. Computer wants you to impersonate Trump. Do I do the Trump impersonation? So I want to just say I voted for Trump. First and foremost, I think he's a terrible speaker, but I did vote for Trump. So the impersonation is not me making fun of Trump. It's just me having fun and getting a laugh in. I'll consider a Trump impersonation. I don't know if we're ready for that. Cables, Brit, 0 gauge wire. Who's the guy on? There's a guy on Facebook that sells a really nice kit. Bucks Cables, I think it is. Bucks Battery Cables, something like that. And he's super well respected. I've never bought a kit from him, so please bear that in mind. I can't say like, oh, I have it. It's one of the things I want to do for my truck as well. So I will have experience on it in the future. I have a feeling my 5R is in trouble when mine gets back together. So Nick, what you're going to want to do, so this is my recommendation for most people, to help 5R continue to live, especially under higher horsepower. Now your build, if you have the fuel to back it and your high pressure oil pump's healthy, you are talking about 600 horsepower on a race tune. Drop your transmission pan and don't flush, but replace with new fluid. Turn around, get one of like the cast pans so you don't get that torsional flexion we were talking about. Excuse me. And hope for the best. Don't do burnouts, man. Some people have had great luck at around 600 horsepower with stock transmissions. I would say the biggest thing to keep it living a long life is get fresh fluid in it and upgrade that pan and upgrade to a 6.4 filter. Is going to be your best bet. Yeah, it doesn't seem to. They don't typically get hot at that temp, so you could upgrade your transmission cooler if you wanted to. But I don't believe that they really get all that hot anyway, so I don't think that'll be of a tremendous help for you at that point. So I just bought a KC Stage 1.5, plan on buying the O-Dog intake, earlier turn. So yeah, with a Stage 1.5. So first off, a 1.5 is a great turbo from KC. Now, obviously, I need to do my part because I absolutely love Turbo Time USA, and I highly, highly, highly recommend those guys. But the KC 1.5 is a turbo. Prior to my affiliation with Turbo Time and trying their turbos, was a turbo I looked at heavily. And if I remember correctly, it's a 63.5 compressor wheel at the inducer. I think it's an 88 millimeter exducer. So it's essentially the same size as a Power Max on the compressor side with the 13 blade late 04 style turbine wheel, which is the larger turbine wheel. It's going to be great for top end performance and great for towing performance. You will lose a little bit of top end, not a ton, but you will lose a little bit of top end with the 13 blades. It's an excellent towing turbo. Truthfully, it is. I do think I get a little flack for this part again. I like the 10 blade. I'm a big fan of it. When I've been really into pulling a hill or something, I like knowing I have more flow up top when I'm really pushing the truck, pulling a grade with the camper to keep my exhaust temps down. And even if I am really in the truck and I'm half accelerating up the hill, my oil temps are going to be a concern long before my exhaust temps are. So typically what will happen is I tow about 13,000 pounds. My exhaust temps would come up. I might touch 1250 to 1300, but then the turbo is fully spooled up and my exhaust temps tend to come back down to like 1,000, 1,100. Definitely no more than 1,100. Once the turbo is spooled up, I've never been over there pulling a hill. So something to consider now. KC 1.5 is an excellent turbo. You're talking about great parts there. I like the 175 stock injector, man. I think that's a great choice, and I wouldn't put a 30% on that nozzle or on that injector any day. I think it's a waste of an injector. I think you should go to a 205/30, at least a 190/30 before you consider putting nozzles on a truck. I'd keep the 175 stock, dude. You're gonna love it. You get more power. There is definitely more power, and that turbo, that's a great combination you have there. Let's see here. So, all right, first off, yep, Brit, 0 or larger, definitely all day long on the wires. Nick, yeah, so a lot of people don't realize this. So a lot of tuners, how they tune these larger injectors is partially, well, I should say primarily, I believe, based on nozzle size. There are other factors that go into it. I don't know what they are. So your nozzle is a large determining factor in that. A 205/30 can have fuel pulled to run identical to a 155/30. So you can go to a 205/30, pull fuel to run to tow max weight. And that's honestly what I want to do with the white truck. I do want to get crazy with my white truck, but I still want to tow with it every now and then just because that'd be cool, tow with a high horsepower truck. Not that it's high horsepower now, but I feel like when you start looking at 600, you start talking some decent power with the 6.0. But so I will do a towing video with 205/30s on that white truck at some point. But you can pull fuel to run like a 155/30. Me personally, I just think a 155/30 is a stupid injector size. And for like $400 or $500, you can have a 205/30, which is a much better injector, in my opinion. 175 stock, 205/30. I did a whole video on this too, and I didn't get a ton of negative feedback, but there are definitely people that thought I was out of my mind and thought I was an idiot. But know that there is a ton of research that went into that video prior to me making it. Holy crap, I'm almost caught up on comments, guys. Don't let me get caught up on comments. Keep them coming. Anyway, CNC, hold on. Nick, CNC Fab Stage 2 high pressure oil pump. What was my last question from you? Nick, I have no idea why you put 205 or CNC Stage 2. But CNC Fab makes an excellent high pressure oil pump. I'm a big fan. Britt, I think, so here's what I've learned in my experience with, I have a fast fuel system on the white truck. And I want to do a lift pump on the black truck at some point. Thank you, Nick. The CNC Stage 2 will do it. Britt, I think I'm going to answer that, then I'll go back to the original one. I don't think with ground wires you can go too big. Personally speaking, and now I will say this, I'm not an electrician. I don't completely understand it. But I will say this, when I'm doing like sound system work, I am much more likely to run a larger ground wire than a larger power wire. If I as big of a ground wire as I can get, I always run in those amps. Now, for the other one, depending on who I'm helping, like I'm not like you guys know I'm a DIYer. I'm not a professional, but I've goofed around with enough stuff. I would use smaller gauge power wire before smaller gauge ground wire. Now, that being said, when it comes to sound systems, I'm all about running the largest wire in and out of a amp that you can. So that's what I do. Yes. I would rather, I'm not aware of you being able to overground a vehicle. So I would run bigger grounds. I plan to in my white truck when this is all taken care of. I feel like if that engine comes out, I feel like I need to really like clean the frame's actually in great shape, and I feel like I love that truck so much. I feel like I should clean it even more and like refinish the frame. That being said, it is in really good shape, but if the engine has to come out, like, we'll see. Now back, I missed fuel pumps. I think a fuel pump on a 6-liter is well worth it. You get better filtration, you get better water separation, and you can run a regulated return with a fuel bowl delete, which for a 6-liter is super important. It's going to help give you longer life of your injectors as well, plus a better running vehicle because you're able to fine tune it. So, yeah, I think they're worth it. I run fast. I've had great experience. You'll see horror stories about AirDog and fast systems. Fast has been great so far. I love it. That being said, I think AirDog has come a long way, and I would have no problem running an AirDog either. Oh, where Edge CS2 is Edge Platinum tuner before, and was wondering if the old EGT probe would fit the new setup. I am not sure. Probably. It might be more of a question for Edge, though. I would send them an email. I've talked to Edge via email a few times, and they've always been great. I've even called in and talked to them about other stuff, and they've had excellent customer service. So I'd hit them up. Any negative or real reason not to straight pipe the exhaust? No. So, all right. All kidding aside, straight piping your exhaust. So my 6-liter has a MagnaFlow exhaust. We have an exhaust video, Brett. I don't know if you know that or not, where we compare mine and Josh's exhaust. We put a Diamond Eye Performance on his truck. Excuse me. And we did some sound clips of it. We did some sound clips of his truck straight piped. Oh, so loud. Sounded really good. Here's one thing though, if you do long drives, especially if you're talking a truck that you have bigger tires on and highway driving is a little goofy for your RPMs and stuff, I would definitely run a muffler. The muffler on these trucks, they do sound really good. Now, if you do short drives, you don't tow anything, then straight pipe it. I don't think you'll have an issue with it. They do get a little droney at highway speeds and stuff, but truth be told, putting a muffler on isn't that hard to do in between stuff. So you could, this is my theory, get cutouts. I actually really want to do this on the, that's funny. Tom, it blocked your last comment because you said tranny. Anyway, sorry, that was my self amusement there. But yeah, no, but as far as performance or anything, no. Now I will say this after this drink. Exhaust. Sorry. So, Josh and I both run 4-inch downpipes on our trucks, and there's one thing you can actually tell a difference in down low. You do lose a little spool up. So for people that aren't talking, when I say high horsepower, I'm talking greater than 600 horsepower. Running a 3.5-inch downpipe, it fits better. First off, it helps keep some of that spool up time, so your drivability is going to be a little bit better, and you're not really losing any performance in the scheme of things. Sure. Now, if you were to say I'm going over 600, then yeah, I'd say you should go to a 4-inch downpipe. But for most people, they're not doing that. The 3.5 to a 4-inch downpipe to a 4-inch exhaust is going to run a little bit better. So that would be my recommendation for that. That being said, I love my 4-inch exhaust, and I would not change it for anything. Jeremiah, what sounds expensive? Hey, been following your channel. So Tom, here's the spiel on safe tunes for factory head bolts. Just realize anytime you're adding something to that, whether that be like a methanol injection, whether that be anything else, water injection. Some people I've heard of people running a slow trickle of water in. Windshield washer fluid, added timing, added boost. It's all creating pressure. You're increasing your cylinder pressure at some level. So while there's tunes that lend themselves to being safer than others, at the end of the day, there's still just always added risk. That said, I bought my white truck with 76,000 miles on it when it was 8 years old, and I ran it tuned for until 180,000 miles before I had an issue. Now, I will admit most of that time was under a tow tune. A large portion of that was under a tow tune. But there were times I ran performance tunes. And I didn't have an issue until 180,000 miles, and then a cylinder head cracked. I never gaskets actually looked half decent still. I didn't lose a gasket on that truck. So the tunes are safe, but again, you always run the risk. Like, you are increasing the chance of it happening. I now have you have the Atlas 40 already. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable. Yeah, so a Ficum tune is just Ficum tuning. And if you were to do a tow tune, like, they wouldn't compound. So if you did a 40 horsepower tow tune, you wouldn't have an 80 horsepower total tune because there's some carryover. But a tow tune with that Atlas 40 would be a nice combination. You'd probably really like it. Like a Power Hungry Performance 40 horsepower tune is a tow tune I ran for years and years and years and really liked it. Yeah, so Tom, when you do regular ECM tuning, it'll also, my truck has all the upgrades, except studs. Yeah, the big reliability one. It's also like the most expensive thing in the world, so understandable. I personally, with a Ficum tune already, I wouldn't do more than like a 40 or 50 horsepower tow tune, but you would really like that setup. I mean, it'll run well. But again, you are taught once you do those, there's always a chance that you can run into issues. Just be aware of that. So I don't want to tell you it's safe and then you blow a head gasket. Like, is it safe? Probably. Like, if you put that setup in and you blew a head gasket, it was on the way out anyway. I can tell you that. But every time you increase cylinder pressure, you shorten that time. So that being said, there's people that run tow tunes for 250, 300,000 miles and never have an issue. So I can't say that you would run into an issue, man. Sounds suspect. Grant, man, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate that you're enjoying the content and that it's helping you. So it's one of the big reasons we're here. And thank you for the support, man. I really appreciate it. I don't know if you guys understand how much it truly means, your guys' support. I know the country as a whole is going through, I don't want to get too into COVID right now, but going through a crazy time. And I just hope that some of the content helps you guys get your minds off reality for a little bit into something a little more fun. It helps me. I know that helps me forget about it. That's part of, I've been trying to put more stuff out, even though some of it's not exciting. I have a video I'm going to release. I pulled a bed liner out of the 6.7. It's just one of the cheap plastic ones, and I have some spots I got to fix up. But I'm gonna release that video. It's not exciting, but it helps keep my mind off stuff. Again, I'm in healthcare, so you guys asking me questions, like I was loving today all the questions and stuff from the tune video because it helped keep my mind off things. So thank you guys as well for the support and what you guys do for me. I can't tell you how much it truly means. As I belch. That one was uncomfortable. But I just need to tow 10K Bobcat regularly. So yeah, Tom, I'd still say a 40 horsepower tow tune, you'll be good, man. That's definitely that's a nice setup. It's not too much power. Do you have the chance? Yeah, you still have a chance of blowing it, but I think you'd really enjoy that setup for towing. Yeah, Britt, if you did cutouts, and there's some companies that do some really nice ones now, that you could just wire up to a switch in your cab, hit a button when you want it to be quieter, it's there. When you want that crazy sound because you want to turn some heads, or you go to the track one day, I think that's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. What tune were you using? So I was using Windrunner Performance, who if you've watched if you've watched some of my previous, I do really like his tunes. That said, he seems to have stopped tuning, and I haven't had a chance to get a hold of him. I've been trying. Some of the pages I follow, I've actually put out questions asking if anyone knows WPE or Windrunner Performance Engineering. His website shut down, his Facebook page is shut down, and I haven't been able to find him on any forums right now. So first, I want to say I hope he's okay, and I hope he gets to tuning again. Whatever reason he stopped, I hope he's done. But he was my favorite toe tune. I think so. One of the big things is I want to get back to to tune reviews. Ideally, what happens this coming year is Josh puts his truck back on the road. Josh's truck is fine. He just does. Josh drives a ton. I mean, I think Josh puts over 40,000 miles on a vehicle in a year. His job makes him drive a lot. So he doesn't drive the truck all that often. He has a little side Explorer right now that he beats on, and he has a 2016 Mustang that he said he'd finally race me, guys, now that the white truck is down a cylinder. Figures. Hopefully when that truck is back together, he races me, because I feel like I can beat him. By beat him, I really mean I just think I can beat him at the track. But he has to shift. I don't have to shift. Something does that for me. But the 2016 Mustang's faster. If he watches this far into a video, he will text me about that, because that'll when I say stuff like that, that always gets to. So Tom, I will probably Power Hungry Performance was my previous favorite toe tune, and they ran really well. So I would recommend him. I have plans to review Gearhead, Quick Tricks, Warren Diesel. There's another one I want to throw in there that I can't think of. And the goal would be to do toe tunes on Josh's truck and street and race tunes on the white truck, because the white truck kind of has a little bit of a larger turbo, so the average person doing a toe build isn't going to put that turbo on it. So while I still can tow with that, just for the majority of people, you're going to stick to the turbo that's going on Josh's truck for size. So I want to try to separate them a little bit. But those reviews are also meant to review the company as well. So I do want to continue to refine my process for tune reviews, get better at it, and talk more about the company and the experience buying from the company as well. I have bought all the tunes I've reviewed. I have paid for all myself. I haven't gotten special anything from them. I would love if any of them would want a tune review. I would love to do a sponsored tune review. That being said, I would always be honest. If it's a bad tune, you guys are going to hear about it. I don't care if that upsets somebody. I need to be honest to you guys. I pride myself on that, is being honest and providing good information to you guys, not what I think you want to hear. So Power Hungry Performance has great reviews, and I personally have run their toe tune. Gearhead gets a ton of great reviews. Warren does, and so does Quick Tricks. Warren and Gearhead are probably a little more popular, but all four of those guys are doing great tunes. Brit, so CV joints, I assume you just mean the universal joints and like the axles. I had just bought Ford. I have Ford factory ones now that I think about it. I've actually never replaced a U-joint until my drive shaft in the black truck, which I have a video of me doing it, and I forgot to shoot me actually changing out the darn part. So I didn't release that video because the main part of it I freaking forgot to shoot. So when I do my front axles, I'm going to record how I get the U-joints out of that. and input it in there. So I can show that. But for the drive shaft, they're relatively inexpensive from Ford. I think I've spent like $35 a pop. Dana Spicer's probably that's what the factory Ford ones are. So if you can find just a true Dana dealer and get them right from them, it'll probably be a little bit cheaper than buying the Ford ones. But I went with Ford for the front ones as well. Moog problem solvers, I hear mixed reviews on for their U joints. I'm actually not a big Moog fan. I prefer, some things come down to cost. I just did Moog on my front suspension, my tie rods and drag link. I just did all Moog problem solvers for that. I did buy Moog ball joints for my black truck, and I've used Moog before. They're okay. I do think a lot of times Dana makes a heck of a product, and truthfully, even though it's a little more expensive, that would be my preference. But I will say you're not buying a bad part with the Moog. Just make sure you're buying from a good dealer. That would be the only thing I'd say, is make sure it's a valid Moog dealer and not somebody trying to make a buck off you. Jeremiah, thank you for what you do, man. Not that I'm saying non-essential workers aren't important too, but I know what it's like to be out working in this, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for what you do, man. I don't know what it is, but I appreciate it. I think it's a cool time in the world because you haven't heard about nearly as much about celebrities and basketball players and football players, and you're hearing about the guy that works at the grocery store, the girl that works at the grocery store, the gas station, all these people that typically don't really register on our radar, and here we are now. Like, now we're thanking them. So, big shout out, man. Whatever you do, thank you. Tom, nice. I bet going to the 6.0 from the Tundra is probably a little bit of a difference. That being said, I hear great things about Tundras. I don't personally really like them, but a lot of people I know that have them love those trucks. But at the end of the day, you can't beat the torque of a diesel engine. So I bet it's got to be a big upgrade for towing. So now I haven't towed with the 6.7, but I did tow with an LML. And here's what I noticed. I think this is worth noting, is the LML never felt like it was working hard, but maybe the EPA got to him before you did. That's funny. That's a good one. Sorry. So it never felt like it was working hard, but it also never felt like it got up and really like took the load. It again never worked hard for it. Excuse me. And the exhaust brake worked great on that Duramax and everything. I'm excited to tow with the 6.7 and compare side to side how the 2015 LML does and the 2015 6.7 and really compare them. But I will say I don't know that they necessarily did a whole lot better than my 6-liter. Truthfully, I mean that sincerely. It was a different towing experience. I did enjoy how quiet it was because my 6.0, I got 35s and factory gears, and towing can be a little on the loud side, is all I'll say. Yeah, Nick, that's true. Like, Nate really did have some of the cleanest running tunes you could find out there. Like, they were some of the best tunes. I really do believe that. If it was EPA related, that'll really irritate me. Is it too big of a pain to rebuild a turbo and add upgraded wheel, or should I purchase? Britt, no, so I'm still running Turbo Time USA. I'm still affiliated with them. I think it's important for me to be clear about that all the time. Sorry, Turbo Time USA. Rebuilding a turbo. So I know KC Turbo does rebuild kits, and there are drawbacks to them. They're good kits, but there's a reason that KC sells a completed turbo for his stuff. Now, I do know people that have run his kits and have liked them. Me personally, I think it's worth it to upgrade your turbo. Now, I will say this: if you're on a budget, and you're saying, "Hey, I'm not looking for anything crazy. I just want some upgrades." That KC kit, price wise, is hard to beat. You're talking $500. If you're a little mechanically inclined, it's not super hard to do. It's a little, you gotta take your time and make sure that you have the wheel torqued correctly. Do not, please do not buy from any hack jobs out there. These cheap kits out there are garbage. You'll give yourself more headache. You might get one that works right, but it's probably not running optimally. Buy from a quality company. Now, I have no affiliation with KC Turbo. In fact, if I had to guess, because of comments I've made previously, I think I've upset him. He's commented on one of my videos, and he wasn't super thrilled with what I said. But he's never been rude to me, don't get me wrong. But as far as those kits, KC Turbo is an excellent company with great quality control. And he deserves the reputation that he has in the industry for what he does. So, and there's a reason for that. Again, I'm a big Turbo Time USA fan. So if you buy a completed turbo, use my coupon code, 6OBROS, spelled out. I'll spell it down here for everyone. In case anyone is looking for a turbo, that'll get you a free merchandise item of your choice. So you put the custom turbo in there, put the merchandise item, and it's free. But again, if you're on the budget side, KC Turbo, you're going to get quality components that you know are going to work, that the machining tolerances are correct, and you're not going to run into a bunch of issues. If you're looking for completed turbos, there's nothing wrong with KC. I just am a bigger fan of Turbo Time. That's just me. But I do want to say I don't get offended when people buy KC. I talk with people that have bought KC or Titan Turbo Services, is another great company. I talk with people that buy them and prefer them all day long, and they're both excellent companies. One of the bigger ones to stay away from, Turbo Labs America. I had issues with his stuff. I have a few people that I know running it, but I think, quite frankly, that guy's a joke. I know that's kind of mean and blunt, but I don't like his product. I had issue with it, and then there was no attempt for him to help resolve that. And I thought I was being pretty cool about everything. So anyway, rebuild KC Turbo. I don't think Turbo Time USA doesn't sell like rebuild kits and stuff. And I don't believe Titan Turbo Services does either. Those guys are just full turbos. KC, if you're looking to rebuild, it's not a bad job. There's a lot of good videos. I should probably get my spare turbo that I have at Greg's. I don't know why I have it there. He probably would like me to get that crap out of the shop. Anyway, get that out of his shop, and maybe I'll do a video on that at some point. Britt, so I'm gonna say if you're looking for best, I would honestly go with Dana parts for all of them. They're all I think they're some of the best components out there. I still have on my white truck, I still have factory front end parts that are still tight. Now I don't abuse that truck, but I have raced it. I've been hard on it, and they're still good. Now, when I get the truck back, I will probably replace them, and I will probably go back to factory for most of that. Black truck is getting pretty much Moog everything except for U joints. I'm sticking with the fact. Do you know how expensive those factory Ford ones are for that truck? They're like $90 a piece. That's ridiculous. I was pretty irritated because I was expecting about 35 a piece. I wasn't expecting 90. And that's with the parts guy at Ford giving me a little bit of a discount. They take care of, like, they don't give me this massive discount, but they're fair to me. So best I would say is Dana parts or factory Ford parts, but you're not. The Moog parts are okay. I'm hard on Moog, but they are okay, and we'll see how they do on the black truck here. But I think you should be fine if you were to buy the Moog. I know. Here's the thing: is they're a good product and they are affordable. So, I don't think you can go wrong with them. I'm using more Moog parts on the black truck than I ever have before, so we're gonna really be able to give a review of them. So we'll see. And I've used some of their parts in the past, and they weren't bad. They just, in my opinion, it seemed like the factory stuff was a little nicer. Brian, you did not miss the live chat. As you can tell, we're still going relatively strong here. But we are getting towards the end of it. We're, obviously the crowd's dying down a little bit. It's getting a little later, but I missed the injectors. I was looking at 175/30. Brian, I firmly believe that you would be happier at like a 190/30 at the least, preferably a 205/30 with fuel pooled for whatever your task is. But I think a 205/30 is a better injector. 175, I prefer stock nozzles. Nick, I don't know. So, Nick, with the white truck, so I think what's going to happen is I think initially when I do the axle swap, I'm talking to somebody about helping with the axle swap that has a lift. When I do the axles, it hasn't been 3 hours yet. Nick, I don't know if I have 3 hours. And if this were to get, like, if we were to get back up to 15 people or 14, 15 people in here, I'd keep going. But I don't think that's it. As long as you guys keep asking me questions, I've seen me keep going. So have at it. I'm having as much fun as I hope you guys are. So I think I'm gonna lift the truck higher and still drag race it because I think that'd be fun. And then down the road, I think I might go the opposite way and bring it down, or maybe get like a truck that has the engine and transmission pulled, or something, and do lower that. I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna lift it a little higher, maybe a 4, maybe a 6-inch lift. And then later down the road, I'll probably bring it down. So, we'll see. Whatever you guys want to see. Who wants to see the white truck lifted more when I do the axle swap? I built motors and Britt, on the good note, is I know a ton about all this. I know a ton about adding power to 6 liters. You let me know what your power goal is, and I can help you come up with a build for it. Nick, Britt, Titan would be a good one to go to then. Titan Turbo Services, while not like a super aggressive advertiser stuff, but like he's done some really nice stuff, and you'd be really happy with his products as well. Yeah, Brett, seriously, $90. That's not like total. That's per freaking U-joint. So I have $180 in U-joints on the front of the I need to stop. Matt, there's no Carolina squat going to happen on any truck in the 6.0 Bros family. We don't do Carolina squats here. Sorry, I do not care for that look at all. Yeah, I hear you. It does stink to do that. You're definitely not going to have to turn around and do all that work all over again with the Moog stuff. Again, the Dana parts, in my opinion, are much better. I shouldn't say much better. I'm going to say if Dana's the bar, I'm going to say that Moog's 75% of the way there. And maybe that's changed because, like I said, I'm using more Moog parts here recently because I've been a little bit more of a budget with the black truck. So we'll see how they do. A lot of people still love them. I will say that. So I'm hoping that I get some good life out of them. Hasn't been there. Reverse lift. No, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it on the white truck. What I'll probably do is I'll probably leave the airbags, and I'll probably take leaf springs out. Like I'll probably put a smaller block in the rear. Now this is after I lift it. After I lift it, I'll probably take some leaf springs out, put a smaller block, and still run the airbags, because that can help with your launch a little bit. Then the front, nobody really makes lowering stuff. I think there might be one kit out there, but I'll probably look at cutting off parts of, I know this half sounds so redneck. Probably cutting off parts of the, what's it called? Coil spring to bring it down. Britt, for how high? I don't see me going over a 6-inch lift on the white truck. I don't know that I'll even go to a 6-inch. It's got a 2.5-inch on it now, and like 4 in the rear. So I might just take the block out, put a slightly larger block in the rear. It's got airbags too, and hold on, it's gonna come to me. I forgot what I was gonna say. And go to like maybe a 4-inch lift in the front, like 4-inch in the front, and like 5 in the rear. I do like the look of the rear being a little bit higher than the front. Nick, I would definitely run traction bars or cow tracks on something like that. Because if I'm lowering it, it's more of a street build, and I'm going to be probably I'd probably spend more time at the track with it. So I'm going to want something to help keep that axle where it's supposed to be. So yeah, no, traction bars or cow track bars definitely would be something that would happen to that. So Britt, I run, I wouldn't say mine's smooth out the ride. I guess if I took some leaves out, so like I have a 350 leaf pack in my 250. It came that way. It was an option, which I think is like an extra leaf spring and an overload spring or something like that. So you could go down to like a set of two. Well, you could get, probably the easiest way to do it would probably be to just get get like a softer riding leaf spring from like a lift company. A lot of times they have that, and then run airbags for if you ever needed to, like as backup, like run like 5-10 psi in them, and then if you ever needed to haul something or anything, you can always air up at that point. Matt, I gotta tell you, I think it's part of how the 6.0 sounds. When I have my 6.0, it seems like I always have people wanting to race. Or Josh too. Josh's is lifted a little higher than mine, and he gets that same thing. And Josh only recently put an exhaust on, but people always wanted to race him. So yeah, I think it's just goofy people that see a lifted truck and go, "I want to show them I'm fast." A lot of Honda Civic owners I've noticed. Can you get the guy I know is making traction bars? Outlaw Fab is here, and there are a lot of good fabricators making nice traction bars. I will say that. Can you bag an 8-inch lift? Yeah, so I guess what you'd have to do. I'm familiar with the Firestone. I'm familiar with Firestone airbags for my white truck. So, and I have the ones that's no drill, like there's no holes to drill. So you just need to put like a spacer between the plate they send you that So you remove the factory bump stop, and your upper bracket goes there. And then down below over the axle, the part that the bump stop hits, you put a bracket around that. You would just need to put a spacer of some sort. Well, I guess in your case, a relatively large spacer, to be able to, yes, I have the ride rights, to be able to accommodate that. Because you don't want your travel being too much. So if you have roughly 10 inches of lift, you're going to want to have roughly 10 inches of something in there so your airbags as your suspension moves aren't being overstretched. Huh. That's funny. I can't show you the number here, but Ryan over at Rhino Diesel Performance is calling me. I'll have to hit him up. He's a good guy. Guys, the D-gas bottle. If you're looking for one, he's got the best one out there. I love it. Can I tell you how did that end up on Josh's truck? Super upsetting. You guys, that was like him and me months in the making, like 7 months of him and me communicating back and forth to make that happen. Ryan's a good guy, guys. Britt, I would say you probably have a stiff ride. I'm not sure exactly how they lifted the rear, if it's all leaf springs. It's probably blocks back there, if I had to guess. I would look at upgrading to a softer, like a more expensive end leaf spring, and then finding someone to make you a contraption to like some kind of spacer to run an airbag for if you ever needed to the load capacity. Rhino Diesel Products, Britt. He makes the D-gas bottle. There's links in those video descriptions. I need to add him. Ollie front. Man, that's a nice lift. What brand lift is on it, Brett? But no, super. I need to add him to all my video descriptions. Let me find his Instagram quick. And I think this is still filming when I go to other pages. Oh, look at that. 2 new followers for me on Instagram, guys. In case anyone's wondering. Now, where's the share button here? That's not it. I guess we're just copying this. Wait. Nope. I'm not great with Instagram, guys. Just as a heads up. No, I don't want that part. And now it's giving me issues. I swear I'm not technologically challenged, but I'm definitely currently having issues. There we go. All right. That is his Instagram, Rhino Diesel Product 73. And yeah, he has the D-gas bottle. That's the best way to get a hold of him. Hit him up there. I'm curious why he called. He hasn't called me in a while. We haven't talked in a bit. It makes me excited he might be working on something. So Nick, I do want to do race with a stock size tire. And I mean, I want to do a stock size tire, wheel and all. Look at me, helping people come up with cool ideas. Why am I orange? Guys, am I coming up orange for you right now? Like, this is upsetting. There we go. Back to normal color. So Nick, yeah, I do want to try factory sized wheels. Tangy. I think that's what they call Trump. So, sorry guys, mixing up another drink here. I mean, just pouring Coke. Just Coke. That's it. What was I saying? Oh, factory size tires. Yeah, no, I do want to. So the annoying part is this means I need to steal tires. By steal tires, I don't mean actually steal tires, but I need to get my hands on a set of tires, wheels and tires, run the truck. And I mean, I don't mind running the truck several times. I'd probably want to do 2 passes with each just to see like how consistent I am. And I probably would want to do it after I had gone to the track a few times to kind of figure things out. My guess is going from the current wheel and tire setup that's on that truck down to a factory one is probably going to take me, if I had to guess, I'd say I'd probably come down like 3/10 of a second. Cream soda. I actually like cream soda. True story. I haven't had it in a long time. But yeah, if I had to guess, I want to say I feel like I could pull 3/10 of a second off. And I don't know, I'm not like this all-knowing racer or anything like that, but I really feel like 3/10 of a second if I went down to a factory-sized tire on that truck, which again I want to do at some point. The spacer is a good idea. Max power output of O-ring studded 6.0. So, in my opinion, every stud job on a 6-liter should get O-rings. If you're at 550 and less, I think standard studs are fine. I think if you plan to go over 550 or think you might, I know it's more than double the amount for the studs, but buy the custom aged ARP studs at that point. It's worth the money. It's worth the peace of mind. They have better clamping force. Just buy them. So, Britt, what year truck do you have? I feel like she told me, or I feel like all leaf front and rear. So you're an older truck. So, okay, now I have an 04. I have a video on how much to cut out to fit 05 style headlights in, which you can get for about $100. I also have a video on what my 6-liter has, which is spider headlights, on how I wired them up. You seem like you're super mechanically inclined. You probably don't even need that video on how to wire them up, but oh, excuse me. But it's there if you need it. And the spider ones are about 150. They have a newer spider one that's out that looks a little cooler, I think, a little more modern. For I think they were 250-ish, and they came out like 2 months after I got my headlights. That said, I do like my headlights, but I do like the ones for 250 a little more. The other thing I want to do is, so when the white truck is coming back, I'm going to purchase a set of 05 headlights, and I'm going to paint the backgrounds of, like, I'm going to pull them apart. I'm going to paint the backgrounds, and I'm going to try to do my own projectors. I think that'd be kind of cool. We'll find out if it works well. In those videos, let me see here. Sometimes I forget I can look this stuff up while I talk to you guys. Let's see. 5 headlight conversion. We'll see if this works. Nope, that didn't work. All right. I did want to actually click on my own video, but it's making me just to get to the share button. So this is, oh, hey guys, Joe's here. Joe is, I gotta stop everything. Joe is a great, great guy. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. And he's just become a good friend. And Joe, dude, I can't wait to see you again, man. I really can. It's been too long. And I do miss hanging out with you. So hopefully all this COVID nonsense goes away, the white truck comes back, and we can hit the track together, and that would be great. Joe, I hope you're doing well, brother. For those of you that don't know, Joe has been a huge influence at the track for helping me. I think he gets as excited as I do when I do well. I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite. I've met Joe at tracks twice. I've been yelled at by track officials because of Joe twice. Well, one time they told Joe if he did it again, he stopped at like the end of the track when we like turned off. He stopped because he was excited, he wanted to get out and talk to me, and they yelled at us for being out there. But Joe is just such a kind, sincere person. Super, super nice. I really like Joe. And dude, I miss you, brother. It's the Chinese flu. That was part of my Trump impersonation. It gets much worse. I do think it's hysterical he calls it from China. That'd be pretty cool if I etched the projectors. I almost got us kicked out. I love it. I know nothing about being at a track. Like first time racing, this may have been my first, no more than my second pass. And I have no idea we've done anything wrong. I just know a track official is yelling at us. Like, I have no idea. Like, I'm freaked out, and Joe's like, oh well, walks back in his truck. But he is seriously, guys. I mean, he has a cool channel. He's a Chevy guy. We give him a pass for that. But no, he has a cool channel. 13 watchers in 3 hours. Here he come. But no, he has a cool channel. He does a lot of cool stuff. Fake track officials. Subscribe to him, guys. He's got a lot of cool stuff. So he has a L5P Duramax, and he races this thing. He's beaten me more times than I can count at the track. When is the place? I don't want to get too political, but it has been funny watching him go back and forth. Trump's racist. I can't believe Trump didn't do more about this from China. They knew about it. Politicians, man. Politicians. But no, Joe's an awesome guy, and he's super fun to see at the track. And Joe, I do miss you, man. I hope you appreciated my shout out in the oil pan video about saying I'm going to make people go look at my oil pan under my truck. Joe got a gorgeous Cyclone, and the frame's super clean. And here's how I know the frame's super clean, because not only did Joe tell me that it's clean, he said, Jared, seriously, go look at that frame. To which I, of course, obliged him, because I would want someone to do the same thing. So I hopped under the truck and looked at it. And I think he asked, no short of everybody that asked about it, because this truck turned heads like you wouldn't believe. People saw, like, it is in that good of shape. Everybody that saw it was like, oh my God. And that thing is fast. Like that truck gets up and moves. Huh, I'll have to check him out. I promise to crawl under your 6'7". I got to tell you, guys, when the white truck is back and running good, and there's going to be a track day, and I'm going to talk about it for as long as I can, and I hope as many of you guys can come out, because it's just a fun time. I mean, especially if Joe can be there too. We had a blast. It was great. What we need to do is go on a day where someone brings a grill along and we can have a party. I think that'd be super cool to have a bunch of guys meet at the track and stuff, and while in between Joe beating me up on the track in the Cyclone or the Duramax, have some burgers. So, Living on Wheels. I'll have to quick check him out. Living on Wheels. But there was one comment here I missed. I got distracted. There were some funny comments. It was for Britt. In that link, there's also a video to the 05 headlights or something like that. If you go to the channel around that same time period, there was a lot of videos for headlights. I did the Raptor grill, which Raptor grills, guys, are back in stock. The video with 5 things I love about my 6'7" has Raptor grills links down in the description with Ford. None of this goofy looking thing that was on it that almost looked like Dodge. It says Ford. So they're back. Check that video out if you're interested, guys. That was I get bombarded with that question a lot. But yeah, Britt, around that time's also there's the Spider headlights I did around that same time, and there should be links to that as well. Seriously, that GMC Cyclone turns more heads than, I mean, we were at a call out that had $200,000 cars there. Joe's truck seriously probably turned more heads, and we weren't even up by the crowd. We were down below where it was quieter, but everybody came up, and it is a sharp looking truck. Seriously, it is a nice truck. Let's see here. 6'7", look over here. What's the pros and cons? Guys, 1 second. I just need to quick plug my laptop in. It's right here. Don't go anywhere. Don't leave. I'm coming right back. Am I seriously? There it goes. I was going to say, am I seriously orange again? All right. Why? Whenever I get close, it doesn't. I wonder if it's this light. All right. Sorry, now that I'm done looking like an idiot. So you have a 13.67 and you want to upgrade your turbo. So one thing you'll need to do is there's a kit you'll need to buy that's got all the parts in it. Well, so I turned the light up and it seems to not be as affected by it now. Like, the camera does seem sensitive. I don't have the lighting ideal down here anyway, but turn on backlight. It is probably what I need to do. So the light's facing in front of me and coming this way. I probably need a light like here or something like down here shining up. But we're making do. So the 13 turbo, so there's a kit. You'll need the retrofit kit. No Limit Fab, I know, sells a kit, so check them out. As for turbos, there's the factory option. Turbo Time USA has a great option. They're starting to get a lot of those turbos out. Down the road, that's who I will modify my turbo with. I'll put a Turbo Time USA one in. But again, you'll need the retrofit kit. It's not a complete direct bolt. What else? You'll need a 15. We need the 15 manifold? Yeah, I think you'll need a 15 lower manifold. there's the kits. Those kits that are put together have everything you need in them. If you're deleted, I would honestly just do a piping kit. No limit, absolute performance. SP has a nice kit I was looking at today, actually. The other thing you could do, hold on. I just thought, oh, Maryland Diesel Performance sells a lot of kits, but I hear that they rub really bad on the hoods, and it rubs through the powder coat on them, which isn't a huge deal, but you don't want stuff rubbing. It's kind of annoying that that's even an issue at all. So I would stay away from them, but I know they've sold a ton of kits. They have happy customers. I just don't like that their stuff rubs. So I wouldn't go non-VGT. I will say there are people that have gone non-VGT, and some of them are happy. I don't like non-VGT stuff until you're really starting like true performance builds. With a factory turbo and a deleted truck, you're talking of like I think 580 horsepower easily. Especially if you were to purchase an upgraded turbo from one of those companies, you're talking a 600 horsepower truck deleted. So I don't think you're really like, until you're looking at being over that number, I don't think there's a huge reason to go to a non-VGT turbo. Plus, then you lose your exhaust brake. And now you have well, you would lose your exhaust brake. You don't have a button for yours. Which BD Diesel, I'm a fan of theirs. I'm actually looking at, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this. They didn't tell me no. They're going to be releasing a new throttle sensitivity switch for the 6.7, which I'm going to be running on this truck in the near future. The guy wasn't like super straightforward. Like it kind of sounded like they might send me one. It kind of sounded like he was telling me, "Why don't you just wait till you can buy this one?" Which I think they're talking end of May to come out. Last I talked to him, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not. Oh well. I like their products, and they didn't tell me not to, so whatever. But yeah, I was thinking about your exhaust brake, but they do make a kit to wire in to give you a button to control your exhaust brake. I would do that, and I personally would stick with the VGT turbo. The 15s, their exhaust brake feature is a little more aggressive than the 11 through 14s, so you'll get the added bonus of that as well. Now, I will say this, the 15 turbo does have slightly longer spool up time. It's not huge, but it is different. You will probably need to run a tune as well. So bear that in mind. I would at least reach out to a tuner and ask them. But I'm pretty certain you'll need to run a tune. It's quick too. With this, as soon as I can stop wearing these masks, I can't wait to. Britt, I live in Pennsylvania. I want to run you in my blue 05 crew dolly if you don't remember. Yeah, no, I remember you. I'll try. If I remember, your son was sitting in the truck when you were showing it to me. You caught me like right before I was leaving. You caught me, and I think I may have been in my truck when you pulled up and I jumped out. So no, I do remember you. You were the first time I saw the kit that brought the coolant from the rear of the heads into the thermostat housing. I thought that was super cool. Where are those grills in stock? All I can find is the... Well, Britt, it's funny you asked. Let me send you a video that has it in. That's probably the easiest way for me to do that. It was, how do I share this video? Sorry guys, I don't mean to leave the live stream. I'm just trying to keep this going. Video link, here we go. The actual video. Let me just make sure this is the correct one that has the Raptor grills. Yep. All right, here we go, man. So in the description of this video, there's links to Raptor grills for various years that have the Ford lettering, or that says Ford like the way my white truck does. It's a meal. When the white truck is back and I start running it at the track again, I will let people know in advance when I'm planning to do that. So if people can come, I think that'd be cool. I would love, hopefully truthfully, I'd love one day to be big enough to have a track day and bring a bunch of people. I think it'd be cool to have like a diesel track day. I am obviously nowhere near large enough of a channel to be able to get that many people to come do a track day, but I think it'd be super cool to be part of like Greg A. Hammer Down Motorsports would definitely race his Cummins down there. Just some of these bigger, there's so many diesel truck channels out there. Dirty Max Jack, he does some cool builds. But you get these, there's a Powerstroke I'm a big fan of, but he is across the country, so he wouldn't be able to come. Truck Guy Joe would definitely come, and basically have a diesel track day. I think that'd be super cool, and just get to race people. I think that'd be a blast. And I think the last time I was at the track, I did like 7 passes or something. So I am not opposed to running the crap out of my truck. Yeah, Nick, it does seem like it was the light. Since see, it stinks. I pointed at me, and now I have this bright shining light in my face. But it fixed the coloring, so we're going to leave it like that. It's too quick, thank you. Or it's quick too, sorry. Thank you for the advice. What do you do for a living, or are you just know lighting? Michael, I'm not sure. I know that the IPR stuff, I'm not aware for everything you're looking for. I think the IPR might be your only option. Now, it is top of the line stuff. The IPR kits, if anyone says otherwise, they are top of the line stuff. You'd be very happy with them. Had the pedal booster for the 04. Well, so in the 04s, I don't believe, especially tuned, I'll tell you, they don't. I don't believe they have anything that essentially retards your timing. Like, so first, second, and maybe even third gear in a 6.7, there's a level of restriction. It doesn't let you hit full power. So the throttle sensitivity switch kind of does away with that. And that's how all the new trucks are. Dodge and Chevy, GMC, they all do it. But it's frustrating. I think you just need, I mean, I feel like you're tuned. And Nick, I feel, we've talked a lot. I feel like you're definitely tuned. Logan, yes, it is. That's an excellent setup. That's going to be like 580-ish horsepower. Even some people have hit 600 with that setup. I will say this. I do recommend a 205/30 over the 190/30. But if you have 190/30s already, there'd be no reason to change. I just think the 205/30 is just kind of like a step up from the 190/30. But the 190/30 is an excellent, excellent setup. There's a notch tube in my intake before the turbo. What does that do? So that's your crankcase vent. So there should be, in your valve cover, there should be a hole, and there should be a tube that goes into your intake, and that's your crankcase ventilation system. Britt, that's what I'm here for. So ask away. I mean, really, I do love. This is why I do these live streams. You guys, I have a blast doing them. I'm glad that you guys benefit from them. That's what the channel's about. Is helping. I hope you guys find some entertainment from it. Truthfully, And yeah, so ask away, reach out to me on other platforms if you have questions. Please don't ever hesitate to ask. I don't get to some of these things as much as I want to, especially right now with how I'm in school, plus the whole COVID nonsense. So I don't get to stuff quite as often as I'd like to. But please always feel free to reach out to me. And Nick beat me to answering that question I did a minute ago. Britt, that would be awesome. Truthfully, if I so there's a few reasons I can't right now. One would be school, the others we don't really know. And the big thing is I don't have the white truck, and the white truck's the cool truck. The black truck is just meant for towing. We're going to do a tow build on it. Like, it will get cool stuff, but it's not going to be a truck I run a million times down the track. That will be the white truck's duties. So when the white truck is back, I'll be more interested in trying to organize like a track day of sorts. I don't know how much it is to rent at the track, truthfully. But I feel like if what oil are you running? That's funny. I will answer what oil I'm running in a little bit here. Are the grills available for the 05? It's quick too. Yeah, go to the last link I did. I have links to 05 grills in there. If you're looking for. Now, they are affiliate links, full disclosure. So it doesn't affect you guys at all, but I do get a little bit of money if you purchase through affiliate links. So if you do, I appreciate it. If not, that's okay too. But it doesn't affect you guys as far as like how much you pay. It's still the same stuff. And I do tend to try to find the best deal for you guys when I do those searches. So I'm not just trying to find the most expensive or the cheapest. I try to find the best deal overall. Sometimes there's cheaper stuff. Sometimes there's typically more expensive stuff, and sometimes there's no difference. That's just the price of the product. But yeah, Britt, I'm just not big enough to kind of command what I need to be able to host an event. I do want to one day. So in my head, what happens is that one day I'd love to have a dyno and track day. And just let anybody like be able to get some of the bigger YouTube channels out there and get them to come to it. I think it'd be cool. Obviously, it won't be super big. Well, who knows? Maybe I can, if I somehow got in touch with Dirty Max Jack or Greg A, who have really large channels and have a huge following of people that want to see them for those things, then yeah, maybe I could help organize something like that. It is definitely something I'm interested in doing, and I'm not necessarily interested in doing it because I'm trying to make a bunch of money off everybody. I would just like for it to break even, but I'd love to have a dyno at one area, and I would love to have a track at another area. I think that'd be a blast. And some good old like redneck cooking, like 3 guys in the back of their pickup with grills. Let's see here. Crankcase breather from your valve cover, jack of all trades. Thanks for the turbo advice. I was on the fence about which style to go to. No problem, man. Happy to help. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Got a leak coming from... No, I don't think it's a bad idea to flush the system. I would verify that with people that know it a little better than I do, but I don't think it'd be a bad idea to flush the system. Most of that fluid's going to probably drain out anyway, so you might as well, get the rest of it out. Oil. So I typically run Motorcraft. I do think I'm going to try Schaefer's in the white truck. I'll probably just continue to run Motorcraft in the 6.7. Now, I did put, so it says that the oil I put in the white truck or the black truck is fine for over 20 degrees, but apparently they do recommend like a 530. And I think I have a 1540 I just put in it. But It does say it's fine for over 20 degrees, which we're spring night. It was like 30 degrees last night, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, no, so that's where I'm at. Motorcraft is good. I stopped running Rotella because Warren Diesel doesn't recommend it, and if they can prove you ran Rotella, I think they actually will deny a warranty on their injectors. It's quick too. I appreciate that, man. Seriously, I really do appreciate it. You know, it's funny. So when I started Amazon affiliates a long time ago, like the first little bit was like, I think like there's like a month I made 17 cents. That, so, you know, I was really killing it at first. But so if you click on that link and you buy a product that is associated with the affiliate stuff, the funny thing is it like anything you buy that's associated, I then get credit for. So people were buying like baseball stuff, oral care stuff. Like I've seen some funny things purchased through that setup. Sorry, I just think that's entertaining. That like those things. But yeah, no. So I appreciate all the support, guys. Seriously. I used to be in marketing. The track day could be. Oh, Britt, that's cool that you were in marketing. Britt, message me sometime about marketing. I might have some questions I'd like to ask you if you're interested in maybe communicating with that. Marketing is an area I'd really like to improve on. But no, and I do. So one of my goals tomorrow, guys, I'm off tomorrow, which is why I'm doing a potential 3-hour live stream. Thanks, Nick. One of the things I want to do tomorrow is I want to make a phone call, and I want to finally release shirts this year. I know we've talked about it a lot, but I want to actually release shirts this year. So that is something in the works. I still have to figure out a few more things, but hopefully this year we have shirts. It might be like, it might be like a goofy, it might be like Venmo. Excuse me, at first. I have to figure out how to set it all up because I don't really know. And can I say I'm not even a big Venmo fan? But anyway, no, I agree with you. It could be a big thing, and it would be something. If when the day comes that we do that, that is what I want to do. Is I want it to be something where I'm selling shirts. One of the shirts I want to get made is so the first shirt's just, you guys have seen me wear the 6-0 bros, 6-0 bros with like a turbo in the background. It's going to be that, and on the back I want to have one saying that. So that just the turbo and 6-0 bros on the front is going to be the first shirt I want to do. The next one is maybe like a small emblem in the corner, or maybe still a big emblem. But on the back, I want to say "Making 6-0s Great Again," just because I think that'd be funny. So I have a few different things I want to do. But some of the nurses at work, we wanted to. So we currently, all of us working one unit, have CT by our names for COVID team. So we were joking about getting team COVID team shirts made. So that's going to be one of my questions I ask tomorrow. And maybe it's just we've all been working together too long that we think that's funny, but we thought it was kind of humorous too. Anyway, Stocko 3. Logan, I'd say that's not a bad price. Did I see O-ringed heads in there? Studs, O-ring head. So Logan, the only thing I'm going to say that I would just double check on your build is I would ask how much you're getting charged for machine shop stuff, and consider finding someone your other option would be to find somebody who would actually want to purchase your factory heads. Take that plus the money you would save in machine costs, which is probably only actually about $500, and turn around and get Kill Devil diesel heads. That is my recommendation. Kill Devil diesel heads. They come O-ringed, all set to go, all new valves, or valve springs and seals. They're just ready to rock and roll. Plus, you get all pressed-in valve seats, which I'm a big fan of. I did a video talking about Kill Devil heads forever ago, but I talk about the importance of having pressed-in valve seats. And if you were to have a shop go through your cylinder heads, cut out the seat that's in there, do a pressed-in valve seat, you're talking a fair amount of money for something that the damage may already be done. Because when you harden a valve seat, when you harden gray iron, well, most metals when you harden, but gray iron's very prone to it. You make it brittle, so you get good wear characteristics as far as like how that area is going to hold up, but you also make it prone to cracking. So like you'll still be able to get a good seal in there, but it may crack. The valve itself can like have a good surface area, but as that crack forms, you can have issues. So I'm a big fan of Kill Devil diesel heads, partially for that, because it's not something they had to cut out. It's just a hardened valve. It's not a hardened valve seat. It's a pressed in valve seat with a metal that has the wear characteristics that they already want it to have. But as for $4,200 is not a bad price at all. Yeah, so the only system for this, wait, are we talking about brakes or are we talking about power steering? Did I miss something? I will say the only experience I have with Hydro Boost systems is completely replacing the brake booster itself and putting a new master cylinder on. So as far as servicing an existing one, I can't really say a whole lot on, and that was on my mom's car. They said it was a Hydro Boost system. So I don't know like a ton about it. Britt, I don't know if they go into actually explaining the rest of War and Diesel. So what they said is it actually leaves a film on things, which actually is Rotella even talks about this. But they've said that they have a higher failure rate. They seem to gunk some of those things up more. There's tons of people with factory injectors that have ran hundreds of thousands of miles, and the only time it saw motorcraft was its first oil change that a dealer probably provided. Other than that, it has always been Rotella for those guys, and they've had great luck. I ran Rotella for a little bit, and the truck did seem to run well, but those were old injectors. I switched all that stuff out, and I've just run Motorcraft. I am going to try Schaefer's in the 6-liter soon, though. Well, when that truck is back. Any recommendations for shocks? I've actually been pretty impressed. I used to be a big Monroe Reflex gas shock fan, and they still make a great product, don't get me wrong. But I've been really impressed with Rough Country shocks. They've seemed to hold up well. They seem to do a pretty good job. They are a cheaper shock. But I just have a hard time spending the money on the Bilsteins or Blistein. I've heard it pronounced a few different ways. I have a hard time spending that kind of money on shocks. So you can get pretty expensive in shocks, but yeah, I'd honestly recommend the Rough Countries. I think you'll be pretty happy with them. Oh, it's quick too. I didn't know that about the Rotella stuff. Yeah, Britt, if you could email me or hit me up on Instagram, whatever's easiest for you, that'd be great. I'd like to talk to you and maybe just pick your brain a little bit about marketing and maybe some things I can do better to help continue to grow the channel. Nice guy, welcome in. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. I'm like, wait a second. I could have sworn I was talking power steering a minute ago. Yeah, the Bilsteins, I hear amazing things about them, and I've heard a lot of guys even say they're well worth it. But the rough countries I've been impressed with. I really have been. And I think if you're just towing and relatively normal driving, I think you'll be really happy with rough countries, especially when you realize you spent a fraction of the price as putting a set of Bilsteins on your truck. Which I can't say I'll never put them on. I just have a hard time right now spending that money. That is a lot of money in shocks. And the other thing is, I don't think when I'm planning content for you guys, and I actually plan a lot of modifications on my vehicles around what I think you guys want to see, and I don't think it represents a price point that the majority of my subscribers want to see. I don't think people want to see reviews on that, so that's part of why I don't put Bilsteins on there. The other part is, I personally, it doesn't represent a value I appreciate. So I don't want to spend that money, and I don't feel the majority of my subscribers would. So I'm not going to spend that money. I'm going to put it in something that I can recommend that's a good value for you guys, for that I can highly recommend and say, hey guys, I believe in this product, and I've tested it. So that's kind of where I come from that. I didn't know that. That the other nice thing about these is I learn just as much, but from you guys as you may learn from me, in my experience. Man, back Nick. We might have another 3 hour here. I mean, you guys are gonna have to start paying for medicine for my vocal cords. I ran my 05. Good night. Love you. Let's say I ran 05 this week with factory ranchos and short bed full of an 05. So the factory ranchos I hear are pretty much garbage. I don't know if anyone can back that up or not. I've never had a vehicle that still had decent factory ranchos on it. I know this truck, I need to do shocks on this truck, and that's after I do the front end video. I'm going to do videos on shocks the whole way around, and I plan to run the rough countries. Again, because I've just been super happy with them. Nearly 8 years ago. Yeah, I mean, I guess when you consider if they lasted 8 years and they're still pretty tough, well, they might be worth the money then. Again, though, I just have a hard time spending it on the Bilsteins. I definitely did like my Monroe Reflex gas shocks. I thought they did a really nice job. Now they're still on the rear of the white truck, and they're definitely tired and need to come off. And the front of that is running rough country. Josh has rough country on his truck and loves them. Jay. So Jay, what you've missed is I think it was the last live stream I did. I did a 3-hour live stream. And basically, as long as people are still asking me questions, I will still keep talking. I don't know how well a video that I plan to shoot tomorrow, my talking will be, but I will keep going. So as long as you guys are entertained and enjoying it, I will keep going. I will say my cutoff is 3 hours. The goal was actually to go to bed early tonight, but I'm having fun. You guys seem to be enjoying it, so we're here. My watch time for today is going to be through the roof. I do have to say, thanks for the support on, I'm going to look this up right now. Thanks for the support, guys, on the newest video. This is by far and wide outperforming any recent videos I've done. We're at, in just over 9 hours, it's at 447 views. So for how a lot of my videos have been performing, you guys have not necessarily been loving 6-7 content, but that video is doing super well, so I'm really excited about that. I always like when a video does well. The watch time is through the roof for a typical, so super happy for that, guys. So thank you for checking that video out and enjoying it. Ranches supplied by Ford for factory install are built to Ford's lower quality spec, from what I understand. Yeah, that makes sense, Itsumiya. That's definitely, I mean, the factory ranchos are definitely not like Rancho, like the 9000 series you can buy. I hear good things about ranchos things. I don't necessarily care for like the adjustable valving in them. Some people say it's, amazing. I don't know. I think it's a little quirky personally. That's just me. What's your profile picture? I can't. So your profile picture comes up like yay big on here, but now I feel like I need to go find you. Jay Hill. I'm going to do it. I'm going to look you up right now. And I can't find you. Probably because you don't have a YouTube channel. Is probably why I can't find you. But I'm interested now. I feel like I need to look. Jay, have we talked today? I feel like we've talked today. Motorcraft is fine. Oh, Joseph, dude, thank you. I really appreciate that, brother. Looks like Trump pointing at you. Oh, it is the Trump picture. That's right. Yeah, I can see it now. I feel like Jay commented earlier on one of the videos. So I just need to find him. But no, I see it now. It's the Trump. No, I voted for Donald Trump. True story. I'm a conservative. No, so at work, I have a lot of people going laughing at my Donald Trump impersonation because I think everybody can stand to laugh a little more these days. And we can all agree, he says some silly things. Brit, in a 6-liter with the oil, even if you run in the 6-liter, because of the shearing effect that happens with the injectors because of the Huey injection system, which is a hydraulically actuated injection. So basically, the oil is used as a hydraulic fluid for the injector itself. So it is really hard on the oil in there. So you definitely should be changing your oil more frequently, or more, stick to 5,000 mile intervals. So you definitely want to change it, because the oil isn't going to stand up like it will in a common rail system that doesn't have, excuse me, the shearing factor, or a gasoline engine where you don't have to combat as hard as the Huey injection system is on oil. Stop wasting your time questions. Hey, Jay, seriously, thank you. I hope you enjoy our content, man. Your profile picture does not offend me. I think it's awesome. And tell your wife to not pick on you. Tell her you're hanging out with the guys. But thank you, man, for hanging out. And I hope you have a good night. Stay safe, brother. Yeah, so that's a big deal when if your CP4 goes out in a 6.7. That's going to be a bad day. I'm really hoping not to experience that. I got to tell you, with the start that I had with this truck, if that CP4 goes out, I'm going to flip out. I should just film my reaction if that happens, because it ain't going to be pretty. There's some disaster kits which I've considered doing and just haven't gotten around to it. I've been driving my 6.7 regularly, and I do like the truck. It's nice. It's you can tell the leather's nicer than it was in the older years. It has nice creature comforts. It's a quiet ride. It's a smooth ride. Even though I have suspension issues, it's still a smooth ride. But I miss my 6-liter. The 6-liter is fun. So, but no, if I dropped the CP4, that's a bad day. I feel like all the 6.0 guys I know are pretty much the same dude. That's funny. So here's a question, because I feel like most of the guys in here, if not all of them, are 6.0 fans. What do you guys want to see, or what would interest you guys in the 6.7 build? Again, we're not doing anything crazy with it. It's a tow build, but what would you guys like to actually see from the 6.7? I gotta show you guys my dog over here. She's awesome. That's Izzy. She's a purebred Akita, and she's awesome. So anyway, sorry, I digress. That's her spot when she knows I'm doing something and she doesn't want to bug me. She comes in and she lays down right there. Or we have couches over there and she'll go lay on one of them. Oh, you gonna come over, Pop? Sorry, guys. I need to. A little distracting. Hi. Yeah. I really do love this dog. Hey, it's quick too. Good night, man. Hi, puppy. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Mike, go ahead and ask away, man. It's just an open platform. You got questions? Honestly, myself or Nick will help out. So just ask away, brother. Do you think Ford is going to fold taking out those loans at high interest? No, I don't think Ford. I do not think Ford will fold. I don't always think that they've made always the greatest financial decisions. Ford's going to be around for a long time because they can't afford, like, our economy can't afford for Ford to go down. If any of the big three went down, it would definitely it would devastate Michigan and some other places where their plants are bigger. So while I would be furious with Ford if they needed government assistance, now I'm not against them taking loans out, but I would be furious if they needed the government to bail them out. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And I don't think it will. I really don't think it will. Full. There are a couple. Yeah, sniping. I've looked at them. I've looked at a metering valve or something that's in one of the fuel logs or rails, whatever they're called on the 6.7. Definitely something I'm looking into for mine, but haven't really gotten around to yet. Matt, put a 6.0 in it. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen at all. But a funny comment. I can appreciate that. It's quick too. If I missed you, good night, man. Thank you. Good time to buy some Ford stock. What would cops drive Chevys again? That's funny. No, this truthfully, like if you have money to invest in stocks, this would be a great time to buy Ford stock. I was talking to somebody actually that he messes with stocks a little bit, like as a hobby, which is impressive. And Ford's one of the stocks he watches, and he says it always seems to settle right around $12. He goes, so sometimes it goes down, like he goes, it'll fluctuate down to like $8 and I'll buy a little bit, and over a couple months it'll pop back up to 12. And he said he saw it at like $4 or something, and he bought a ton of it because he's like, that's gonna just triple my money. It's gonna come back. He's like, and if I catch it at the right time when it's like 13, $14, make it out even more. So anyway, I do say that, like, I hate to sound like I'm trying to like capitalize on the pandemic, but I wish I had some spare money that I could kind of risk and buy stocks that and see what happens. Truthfully. So, man, this has been a long one. This is the second longest live stream we've ever done. Ever. It's down to Ford stocks down to 477. For a second, I thought you were talking a gear ratio. Well, I mean, life will definitely go on. This will pass. And the biggest thing, guys, stay safe. This is a serious thing, as I do feel like I can talk a little on the educated side about this as a nurse and working with it. This is a serious thing. Do I think this is going to cripple our society? Absolutely not. I think we already have the answers to fixing this. It's just a matter of getting them mass produced. The U.S. healthcare system, I think, is clearly superior. I don't like talking political stuff, but I'm going to kind of say this anyway. I'm not saying our healthcare system is perfect. It's not. I don't think anyone's is. But I think clearly one thing you can say about the U.S. healthcare system is it is superior to everybody else. Because we have a lot more cases than anyone else, yet our healthcare system's not crippled. We have some concerns. Don't get me wrong. But we're not in shambles the way other countries have been with this. So, and shout out to all the other essential workers out there, all the other nurses and doctors and providers doing their part, and everyone at gas stations, grocery stores, and every other place that I'm forgetting, electricians, plumbers, mechanics. Shout out to all those guys that continue to work through this. Huge shout out to them. Now let's get to Mike's question. I have an 05 motor, looks different from others, and wanted to send y'all some pictures of my motor, see if y'all could tell me more about it. So trying to think. I think I gave you my email earlier. I can't remember. I'm going to check my email here, see if you emailed me. I feel super rude getting on my phone like this and while like everything's still going. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I don't have any emails from you. Let me quick type this in here. So that's my email, or this one is my Instagram. Either one of those are good places to send pictures to. I'll check it out. Things I need, things that would be helpful. Looking at the driver's side valve cover, basically getting a good shot of the top of it and how the crankcase vent goes in. Your fuel lines into your fuel filter housing on top. Your passenger side valve cover, looking for the ICP sensor over there. Trying to think what else is obvious on those trucks that I could actually help. Your air intake tube to kind of judge. Some of the O5s didn't have mass airflow sensors, and if you could get a shot past your under your Fickerman turbo to the cover that sits over your high pressure oil pump, like where your IPR valve is, that should help me be able to kind of give you some ideas on if there's any abnormalities in your setup. Because if you're looking, like if you're comparing it to an 03 setup, well, the fuel lines are run differently. So 03 and 04, early 04, you're depending on where you're at in all this. ICP sensor placement's different. The high pressure oil pump itself is different, which you can tell by looking at the cover. There's like 3 different potentials you can have in 03 and 04. Late and early fuel lines are run slightly differently in there. Different turbo, though you won't be able to get a picture of the area I need to see to tell you what's up. Your intake manifold can be different. So, oh yeah, and then just take a picture of your engine bay as a whole because of your intake elbow. I can kind of see. So, yeah, there's some differences, but I can definitely help identify some of them. And yeah, Britt, like I said, if you have some money, like I gotta tell you, I wish I was willing to risk like $1,000. I'm not, because I'm paying school out of pocket, and I have a Project 6-liter that I want back on the road. So I do not have $1,000 to arbitrarily invest in something that I might not see an investment for or a return for 6 months. But $477, if it normally settles around 12, when the economy comes back up, it'll definitely shoot up over $12, maybe 14, 15 bucks. Sell at $15. That's that's more than tripling your money. So it's a good way to turn $1,000 into 3. And I'm sure you get destroyed on taxes because it's investments, and the Democrats hate people succeeding in life that if you're not poor. Sorry, little bit of a tangent there. Oh, nice guy. That's cool. Yeah, no, being in healthcare, I always get weird looks like, why aren't you a mechanic? Well, this is a hobby. Nursing's how I make money, but that's cool. It took a worldwide pandemic to get Obama's stock markets high. That's funny. So sorry, Logan. I'm trying to understand this. So you have the IPR oil cooler setup. Looks a little sketchy. I'll agree with that. Not their nicest piece of work they've ever done. Personally, I think they should run it. Like, I think it'd be neater to run it down to And maybe part of why this isn't is because it would be a pain in the butt. But I think you could tuck the lines down neater if he took it down to like behind the bumper, which somebody used to do a kit like that. But I feel like you could tuck all your lines away and keep them hidden and give a very clean look to things, yet still make it super easy to change out an oil cooler if you ever needed to, or to run like I know his newer one runs a 6.7 oil cooler, which is pretty cool. Plus, Bulletproof Diesel has that bigger one, bigger oil cooler, giving better capacity. So I think that'd be pretty sweet, but probably super unpractical and probably super expensive to to do what I just said. Don't you love when I just randomly list off like thousands of dollars worth of stuff? Like, what is it? No big deal. Uh, he could also be talking about, since Logan's talking about the IPR oil cooler, I mean, he might have somebody that has a he may have bought a truck with bulletproof diesel parts on it or the IPR setup. Who knows? I hope he reaches out to me. Like, I want to help. But I don't have anything from him yet. Oh well, we'll see. I'm sure he'll. We had talked. He's. I know that I recognize him. I've talked to him a few times recently, so I'm sure he'll hit me up if he isn't in here already. Yeah, Jim, the 6.0 is an excellent engine. Oh wait, I feel like somebody actually said something like actually about what they wanted to see out of the 6.7. Oh, compounds. That's what I'm talking about. No, compounds are not happening on this 6.7. What I will promise you is if I become super successful, and I assure you that I will do a compound 6.7. I would probably do that in a regular cab truck. Matt, yes, oh, I mean, I'm around. Oh, yeah, I think I did see I got 2 more followers on Instagram. Let me quick bring up the old Instagram. I think I'm at 722. Yep, 722. Oh, yeah, it's definitely me. 6.0 bros with an H. Nick, what kit are you running that your oil cooler's behind the bumper? Yeah, Instagram's kind of like uh, they're just kind of goofy. That's all I can feel about them is they're just kind of goofy. Like, that being said, it has been super helpful to the channel, but it's just I don't know. I don't know. It has made me get really good at taking pictures though. Nick, who's BPX? Did you mean to say bulletproof diesel? Cool. DT, welcome to the live stream. I am in the home stretch of it because it's been going forever. The cold weather with the cold weather kit. Nick, how do you like the cold weather kit? Because I hear mixed reviews for people that actually live in like cool, like cold climates. Like it gets cold up here in Pennsylvania. So how do you like it? Someone on Reddit said Bob makes one and they have it. Matt, what does bulletproof? Okay, never mind. So, guys, we are in the last couple minutes, so send out Robert. Man, I'm sorry you're gonna watch a little Tiger King. Hey, Truck Guy Joe, have a good night, man. It was great having you in here with us. Brother, I miss you. I hope you and your family is all doing well. Stay safe, man. Better at taking pictures. This is what upsets me is I actually now spend time figuring out how this would look better this way. No? There we go. And then I have applications to edit the picture to make it better. It's upsetting to me. I will say it's kind of cool because some of the pictures turn out, like they really do turn out pretty good every now and then. And they really just kind of jump at you. So I do like that, but I don't know. It's not something I'm like super into. So the fact that I've spent time doing it makes me kind of go, what have I done with my life? But hey, if people like them, GN Joe. Oh, good night. Never mind. Good night, Joe. Wow. Wow, was that a slow moment for me? But Matt, you have a good one, brother. Guys, again, thank you for the support on the channel. It means the world to me. I'm glad you guys still like the 6-liter content, even though I don't have a 6.0 to actually really talk to you guys on. We are going to fix that. The 6.0 is coming back. We're making 6.0s great again, which is, I feel like I should release that t-shirt when the 6.0 is back. But the plan is to get shirts made this year. It's actually on my list of things to do tomorrow is call a company about shirts. Excuse me. Yeah, it does, Britt. I'm not amazing with the whole picture thing, and I want to say probably like half of them I still don't edit, or I edit them in ways like for my thumbnails, not necessarily to make them better, but it's pretty obvious when you get on there and look which ones I've messed with and which ones I haven't. But like I said, people seem to like it, so I'll keep doing it. That's all it really matters. I mean, that's what this is all about. So I will keep doing it. But yeah, thank you guys again. Britt, sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you guys all. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe during this time. Essential employees out there, all of you guys, thank you for what you do. To my other healthcare workers, shout out to you guys. I feel your pain, what you're all going through, guys. Just stay safe. Thank you. And appreciate the support. I will see you guys soon. I plan to have another video uploaded, granted a boring one, but another video uploaded by Friday. There's some rust in the bed of the truck. We're going to start messing with that and getting that fixed up. So anyway, guys, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button. We only got 7 likes, and I know more of you guys like this than just 7. So hit that like button, guys. I'll see you guys all in the next upload. Have a good night.